Testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, everyone, welcome to another Friday night live stream here at Christ-Centered Ironworks. I hope everyone is doing well in this new year. And so let's make that the very first thing that we say, Happy New Year to each and every last one of you. So this is our first live stream of 2026, if you can believe that. So time has gotten away. It's pretty crazy. So welcome everybody to the shop.
Yes.
So in tonight's stream is going to be a really chill, relaxed stream. It's going to be an enjoyable bit of forging for me, and so hopefully some enjoyable Q&A with you fine folks out there. So be sure to take and drop your questions in the comment section and go ahead and ask away, and I will do my best to take and answer as many of those as we can this evening. So we're slotted run for 2 hours tonight, and we're going to be talking about a whole host of things, some things you can expect for the channel in this new year on 2026, and some general housekeeping and things like that, and hopes and dreams and goals and all that other good stuff. So it ought to be a good evening. Tonight I will be I'm going to be winging it. I want to make an ornate hook of some kind. I think that's what I came up with. The Great Blacksmith Christmas giveaway live stream was an amazing stream. It was fast-paced. There was lots of giveaways. There was lots of stuff going on, lots of forging going on. And I just want to have a much more relaxed pace, do a nice Q&A stream this time around, and talk about some exciting things that will be coming up. So I'm going to be making a fancier decorative hook, and I'm winging it. I don't have a drawing. I don't have a design. All I have is a bit of half-inch bar stock, and I'm going to be from some scrap from a class I taught on doing fundamental work, and so some upsets are already done. So I'm just going to forge this into some sort of fancy hook and then sell it on my website. So we're going to play around with that this evening and just kind of see whatever comes to mind, and see which directions the bar takes me. So that's the plan for this evening. So I'm going to set that in the forge so the end can start getting hot. And while that does that, Jessica, how are we this fine evening, and who do we have with us?
Good. We have Robert Lannis, Possum Sausage.
Hello.
Rigid Ironworks.
Rigid Ironworks here?
Yep. Chuck, 72 Vet, which apparently some of you guys got here pretty early. You're having a little side convo about repairing vices. Yep. David Ridnor.
Welcome.
Ray Dahl says, thank you, Roy and Jessica, for the hammer. I've already started making money with it.
Awesome. Very awesome to hear. You're very welcome.
Speargrass says, only Roy would continue to use the Christmas music nearly a month after, LOL.
Always.
Jeff Killian, yeah, it's a little chilly. It's been teens, I think, today.
Yeah. It's been getting like close to single digits at night, and during the day it's been in the teens, 20s. Doesn't feel too bad during the day, when the sun's out and stuff, but yeah, it gets a little nippy at night. Hence all the breath you see.
Speargrass says your beard is looking lumberjacky.
Well, thank you, Speargrass. Thank you. Yeah, I've actually got quite the luscious beard this year. I did well. I finally have gotten the mustache, the Kringle curl, just almost perfect, the way I like it. And so this year is probably the best mustache. The beard is okay. I would say it's like 70% there, but definitely the mustache curl, I got that game on point. So I'm going to try to keep that up throughout the new year. It's a lot of maintenance to keep a nice handlebar mustache, with the curly cues on it. It's really hard to take and keep that nice mustache going because it takes a lot of product and it takes some time to do. But I'm going to try to keep that going even when I go goatee in the summer and I shave off all the excess. We'll see. We'll see how long I go with that. I might get tired of fooling with it and just buzz it all back down. But I finally got those those mustache hairs trained to go into that swoop. So it takes me very little effort to actually get the curly cues started. So it's kind of nice.
Danimal says I'm giving the beard a 4.5.
What's that?
Danimals gives the beard a 4.5.
A 4.5 out of 10, huh? You're too kind.
Yeah, Dana, still a ladder behind me. No stairs.
Yeah, there liable to never be stairs in this shop, unfortunately. Stairs take up a lot of space. Until I have a bigger place that I can store a lot of this other stuff that I need on the daily basis, there probably won't ever be stairs in here, because like in the one side of the shop, in the fabrication side of the shop, I do have some room that I could put up a staircase, but it would just take up so much of that shop that it wouldn't make sense. You know, it wouldn't make sense to have that, just to have the conveniency of steps. And Jess and the kids, they're all used to climbing the ladders by now, up and down a zillion times. So
Yep.
We're pretty good with it now. And if we have anything heavy to carry up, I've got the forklift, and we just throw it on the forklift and go drive it right up into the loft. So works out pretty good.
David Smith says, thank you for the Christmas tongs I won. Have been putting them to good use.
Hey, you're very welcome. I'm glad they've been helpful to you. Very welcome.
Ken Foster asked if you use much epoxy in your work.
Epoxy?
Epoxy, yep.
Nope, haven't ever used a lot of epoxy. Years and years and years and years and years ago, when I first got started, I tried my hand at knife making, and I tried my hand using epoxy and stuff, and yeah, no, I was just as terrible at it as I was a knife maker, so I had no interest in continuing with it. So I haven't used a lot of epoxy in any of my work of any sort, so mixing chemicals and whatnots. So get there eventually. That forge is cold.
Ray Dahl says, I have a question. When doing full-time forging, how much propane would you use in a 2-port forge for 6 to 8 hours?
A two what?
Two port
burner.
forge, yeah.
So the easiest way I can put this to you is in the terms of like a 20-pound tank or a 40-pound tank or a 100-pound cylinder, what you might go for. In a 2-burner gas forge, if it's a Venturi style burner, that means it sucks in its own air and mixes with the fuel and burns. You can expect in a reasonable forging hour to get anywhere from 4 to say 6 hours of forging time out of a 20-pound cylinder. Now, if you give it like say in midsummer, right, it's going to sweat. The tanker's going to chill down a little bit. Might even develop a frost line, depending on if it's early spring or late fall. It might even start freezing up on you. Definitely in the winter, you're going to get less than that. You might get 2 to 4 hours out of a 20-pound cylinder before it freezes up on you, and you're not getting enough pressure out to maintain that thing going. It all depends on pressure, how much pressure you're running through and how much volume you're moving. Every burner's a little bit different, so I really couldn't tell you unless I knew the exact BTUs each burner in your forge is actually pumping out. And then there's some math that you can do to figure out what the consumption is there. But generally, in my experience, on a 20-pound tank, you get 4 to 6 hours out of a 20-pound cylinder of continuous run time on the forge. When you go out to a 40-pound, you get roughly double that. And when you move up to a 100-pound, because of the way the volume works out, you can usually go a few days off of running full out 8-hour days. You can usually run like 3 days or so off of a 100-pound cylinder, just straight out, dead out on it. So it does consume quite a bit, but I would say as far as a professional, anytime I've used gas forges, some things you can do to make it more economical. Go right over here and shut it off. When you're going to take a heat, you're going to go forge something, turn off the gas valve real quick, do whatever you're forging, come back over, kick it back on. that saves a boatload of propane. So you can almost double the amount of time of propane that you can save in your shop. So you can really stretch the propane that way. Your results are going to vary. It just depends on altitude, gas pressure, size of your burners, that sort of stuff. But from anytime I've been forging in the gas forge, I don't leave my gas forge running for 6 hours straight, because there's a whole lot of like this time. See, I waste more gas than what I would do if I was production smithing. I'm sitting here talking to you, holding down Olga with a hammer, right? I'm not actually getting work done right now. And so when you're doing it smithing for a living, you know, most likely you're only going to be forging for a few hours, actually actively forging solid dead out. And then you're going to maybe be intermittently coming back and using the forge throughout the day. So you might be able to get, say, out of a 100-pound cylinder, in my forge, especially with my 3-burner Mankle, it will, a 100-pound cylinder with production forging will last me about 4.5, almost 5 days. So almost a full working week. It'll last me that amount of time. Because again, anytime I'm not doing something, I'm turning it off. I might be over grinding at a grinder for an hour or two during my day, right? And meanwhile, that's not running full out, you know, the whole entire time. Hopefully that'll help you a little bit, just some ballpark ideas of it. It really will vary and depend on you and your location. So, good question. All right, we good?
Good.
All right, I'm gonna go to camera 2, Jess.
Okay.
And, we're gonna go ahead and start forging this out. Now this thing has already got a bit of an upset on the end of it, which is gonna lend itself fairly well to a fishtail. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm using a fairly large hammer right now, just to get the bulk out. And then I'll switch to my 1 3/4 pound. All I'm looking for is a nice asymmetric taper from one side. And a nice symmetrical back taper from this side. So I splotted all that out. I'm gonna take another heat on it. No need in hitting cold metal. Just makes you work harder.
The animals, that's awesome. You found another viewer that lives in your very same town.
Oh, very cool.
See here, let's see. Chickpappy45 says, a longtime subscriber, question, as a newer creator on YouTube, what is the hardest thing that you had to figure out, and how did you fix or tackle that problem?
So say that last part again.
Yeah, so they want to know the hardest thing you've had to tackle on YouTube.
Well, I'll answer it in a couple parts because it's not so straightforward. I don't want to give you some bougie reply and then it doesn't actually help you. So, technical wise, the hardest thing to figure out on YouTube is good video and audio. Getting decent video and audio. You got to understand, when I started on YouTube, things have not progressed. Things were not like they are now. The cell phone footage now that you can get is almost as good or on par with DSLR cameras. Back in the day when we started, wasn't even close. They weren't even in the same ballpark. So getting good audio is probably the worst thing. It's the hardest thing for people to get right. People will tolerate garbage video quality as long as they've got good audio quality. Especially the demographic we serve is a lot of people who are working people. So they don't have time to sit down and watch an hour-long video, but they can listen to it in their ears. And so if you got staticky, sounds like you're in a tin drum, sounds like you're 100 miles away from the camera, stuff like that, people won't tolerate bad audio quality. They will leave, like right now, off of your channel in a heartbeat if you have bad audio. they'll tolerate bad visual, especially if you tell them you're just getting started at this and you're trying. Most people have different levels of that. You don't have to be a cinematic genius just to start. But tackling video and audio, and mainly audio, was one big hurdle to overcome, especially when you first get started. Learning editing software can be a little bit tricky, but if you're comfortable on a computer, that's not an issue for you. If you're terrible at a computer like me, everything's big, slow, one button at a time type edits, and it's going to take you an eternity to make a video, but that's okay, you're learning, right? So hopefully that'll give you advice there. You want a good video editing software, go with DaVinci Resolve. That's what I use. Buy the pro version if you're going to do it long term. Use the free version for as long as you can. I used the free version of it for about 4 or 5 years of the YouTube journey here. And then for the last 4 or 5 years, we've been doing it professionally. We bought the professional, we just bought the full studio suite with color grading and all the kit and caboodles and whole 9 yards. So yeah, that can help you with that. Panasonic makes really economical cameras. That's what we use. That's our whole line that we use in our shop. We use a lot of Lumix. Dead solid cameras, really easy user interface to figure out camera settings, and just watch a boatload of YouTube tutorials on exposure and how to get pull focus and things like that. And you can very easily get your own setup done pretty quickly. So that's one part. So that's part A to answer your question. Part B to answer your question. One of the biggest hurdles that you're going to have on YouTube is seeing other people succeed where you fail. You're going to think that you are behind some sort of imaginary curve, that you are behind in a race, or that, you know, it's hard to get criticism and think people don't like you. There is more of a mental game on YouTube than I ever anticipated. It is, isn't it, hun? It's hard. It's hard. Mentally, it's hard. I used to think like, oh, these people that cry on YouTube channels and talk about how they're having a mental meltdown, mental break, and, you know, whatever, that, man, they're just a bunch of wusses, right? You know, I used to think that going into it, but it is mentally difficult. It's a mental game. It's really, really difficult, like you wouldn't believe when it comes to that. So I come from the trades, so I have literally had guys this far from my face calling me everything but my name, and I've even walked guys out to parking lots before and settled things. So I am not a spineless, crybaby, whiny type dude. That is not who I am. And I don't think anybody would think that. And if you've ever met me in person, I know I look small on camera, but I'm not. I look wide right now on camera, but, you know, I've just been a big dude for as long as since I was 12 years old. But the mental game, instead of bragging about my manliness there for any longer, the mental game of YouTube is one of the hardest hurdles you'll have to get over, because you're going to post a video. Let's say I post a video on making a spork, and I get 10 million views on that video. And you get the idea that you post a video of a spork, and maybe our videos came out at the same time, and you get 4 views on your spork video. And it took you 9 hours to film and edit and do and put all those things together, right? And then out of those 4 or 5 views you got, 3 of them told you that you were worthless and you should give up on life, right? Of the commenters, right? And so it's a very tough mental game. When you've done it as much as we have, and there's as many videos out, you get to where we're at, it becomes an even tougher mental game, and you have to learn to be able to just kind of like let things go, post and ghost. You don't worry about negative comments in the comment sections, because you spend less and less time in the comment sections. You only answer the people that have a history of, you know, making good comments on the channel. That's the only people I answer anymore when it comes to comments. It's just the way it is. I don't have time to answer the 4,000 comments that come through the channel every month, and I certainly don't have the time to take and answer 400 negative people who hate everything about me and decided they wanted to share that information with me online. So I have no time for those things. But that takes experience and it takes time to get over that hurdle. And for anybody who's looking to get into YouTube, that's the what do they call that, Jess? It's a hidden, what's that? That's the, God, I can't think of the name of it now. My mind's blanking. Basically, that is something that people don't talk enough about on YouTube, is the mental game of it. You know, it's not taken seriously enough. In your job, you might get told that you suck by your boss once or twice a day, and maybe by another employee. On YouTube, you might get told 1,000 times in one day that you are a terrible human being. And so to be able to separate out reality from, you know, online world, fake reality, is quite difficult. So it's a big mental game, and it's a hard hurdle to get over, and it's hard to stay self-motivated when you don't see things going your way and you don't see things progressing, and you're not Alex Steele within 2 weeks because you just started posting content and you believe you should be #1 in the space now. It doesn't work that way. So, you know, but hopefully that won't discourage you. Hopefully that will encourage you. I hope that it takes time, right? Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will you. Neither will your YouTube channel be. So I'm gonna go to the anvil, Jess.
All right. Hello, Mama.
Who's that?
Your mom.
Hello, mamas. See that okay?
Yeah.
Having an upset already on this, a nice upset on the bar. Hopefully guys can see that kind of thickening there. Having that nice upset on there really helps to spread out a real nice fishtail on there. Now I'm gonna start tuning that up. I'm done using my 3-pound hammer. So I'm done using this 3-pound straight peen hammer. I use that for the drawing down to help with mass, just so I don't have to take so many hammer licks. Now that I need to start truing up my form and getting to the shape I want, now I'm going to switch down to my 1 3/4 pound hammer that I use all the time. This is my main forging hammer.
Love you too, Mama.
Love you, Mama.
Pale Jack says, hello, hello. Hope y'all are having a good
Hello, hello.
evening. Loving the hammer I won.
Awesome. So glad to hear that. So, go ahead.
Oh,
you
sorry.
have one more thing.
One other question, I was going to tie in because it
go
was
for
from
it.
a little earlier. Rigid Ironworks asked if you know of a place where he can get a screw box for his leg vise.
I do not. I haven't taken the class from Tom Latinay yet to learn how to make one, so I couldn't really give you any advice on that. I have heard if you have the screw, I would have to reconfer with Tom Latinay on this one. I believe he had said in the past that if you have a screw already, you have an Acme thread screw, you can wrap a bit of key stock, like a bar, around that thread, get that wrapped around the thread of your actual screw, and then you can forge or make your own screw box by sliding that in, taking your screw thread out, and then brazing those threads in spot. Now it's not as strong as what you would have if you had it machined, an internal nut kind of machine that was for an Acme thread. But that's one way that can be done. That was an old historic way of doing, and also why you shouldn't be cranking with a big 8-foot cheater bar on 150-year-old vices, right? So that would be one suggestion that you could do. I would just take, personally, I would take the screw to a machinist and say, hey, I need a nut to fit this, roughly this big or whatever, however long you want that nut to be, to match this Acme thread. Have a machinist machine you a nut, and then put it in some sort, make a screw that way, is what my suggestion would be. It'd be a lot easier if you're trying to do it that way. Won't cost you as much as you think, especially if you go to a good machinist. It won't take them that long to do it. It'll take you way longer trying to scratch your nugget to make that work. So that would be my suggestion on that. So I wanted to go over this real quick. Sure. So talking about YouTube, since this will bring me into my first conversation. So some of you may know this, some of you probably don't, most of you probably don't, but we have actually hit a milestone here on YouTube. In fact, it's coming up in February. Now, we've already technically passed the milestone, but the time in which we decided to start taking YouTube seriously was actually in February of the year that we're about to talk about. But basically, we have now officially been on YouTube for a decade. So we have been on YouTube for 10 years. So this channel has been around for 10 years on YouTube, on the platform of YouTube. Sounds kind of crazy, right? So we started in 2016. It's 2026 now. And we had, so when we started to decide to take the YouTube channel seriously and actually really make an investment in posting and investing in the community and that sort of stuff, was in February of that year. And so basically, pretty cool, right? It's been a decade. It's been 10 years on the platform. And as a celebration for that, we plan on celebrating this year. And what I plan on doing this year, for the year 2026, as a big thank you to everyone that has subscribed to us, all the channel members, all the help and support you've all given us over the years, all the thumbs up, all the liking of the videos, all that good stuff. This year, I plan on, every month, we are going to give away an anvil. So we're going to give an anvil right here at one of our Friday night live streams. And the very first anvil is going to be given away on February 20th, which will be our next live stream. So we are going to give away 10 anvils for 10 years on the platform this year. That's our plan. That's our goal, is to give away at least 10 anvils for 10 years on the platform. We're also going to be running some sales as we go. So throughout the whole month of February, we're going to have a 10% off discount for you. If you want to buy anything through our website, you'll get 10% off, and that'll be store-wide. Plus, you always get free shipping with anything that we have there. So you'll have not only free shipping, but you'll also get 10% off your order. And then what other good things are we doing, Jess? There was one other thing it's slipping my mind right now off the top of my head.
Well, one thing we're going to do is we're designing a limited time sticker also.
Yep. We're going to have a brand new anniversary sticker. It's going to be a limited edition. I'm also planning on making some limited edition knick-knack things. I'm not going to say what they are yet, but they will be commemorative and they will be in very, very short supply, just to take and celebrate 10 years on YouTube. So we're going to be doing that. The anvils I've got planned are going to range. So some of them will be smaller, some of them will be bigger. I think the largest one's up to about 130-ish, 140 pounds. It'll be a 140-pound anvil we plan on giving away. So it's going to be an awesome year. For here at Christ Center and Ironworks. So I think it's going to be great. do a big celebration there. So. We also have a video that'll be coming out here soon once we finish filming it, and it is going to be a compilation video, our first ever compilation video on this channel, but it is going to be celebrating the 10 years, the decade that we have spent here on the platform. So it's going to include some of our oldest videos, some of our favorite videos, some of our newest videos, and it's just going to be a big, nice, long, commemorative, compilation video. And Jessica and I is going to host it, and I hope everyone's going to have an absolute blast and a ball, being able to watch that video. So we got some great things this year to plan on celebrating, and I hope everyone's excited about the anvils because
oh yeah,
they're not cheap. So I hope everybody will be excited. Hopefully not everybody's like, meh, seen better.
Fly Fisher says you can never have too many anvils.
No, you can never have too many anvils.
Speargrass says, will we get a 10th anniversary blooper reel?
Yeah, 10th anniversary blooper
Roy always
reel.
he actually deletes the footage. Like,
yeah.
If he knows right away that he wasn't going to use it or he messed up, he deletes it. So
yep.
I don't really have much in the way of bloopers.
Yeah, I don't really save any bad edits because, well, it eats up camera space, hard drive space, So let's go to camera number 2, Jess, real quick.
Okay.
Start truing up this thing. So, yep. So, anyways, so this year ought to be pretty exciting that way. It's gonna be an awesome 10th year anniversary here on YouTube. There's a reason why I'm being so careful forging this. I'm doing a real tidy forging because we're going to do a springtail scroll on the end. Some will call it a split tail. But you'll see what that looks like here in a second. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to end up splitting this in two. We'll split this in two. And so it'll scroll one way, the other one will scroll the other way, but it'll be split out, so it'll kind of come and twine like that and roll up.
Wanted to say a big thank you to Subtle Citizen. Sent a $5 super chat and says,
Thank you.
Just tuned in to get a Roy rant right away. And, ooh, are we making a toilet spoon too? Keep up the great work.
No toilet spoons. No toilet spoons. So, but thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat.
And they also gifted 10 memberships.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Harold Hodgkinson says, my wife thinks you need to make a symmetrical splat 4-inch. Yeah, we do have the asymmetrical splat.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. Splats are never symmetrical, though.
No, they're not. He's just trying to give me a challenge, that's all. Oh.
Robert Lana says, congrats on the 10 years. You guys are the greatest.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Robert. Go to the camera number 2, Jess.
Okay.
Just squaring up my fishtail here, folks. The end of the fishtail. Gotta keep squaring it up, make it nice. So some awesome things that I have planned for this new year. I'm always very hesitant to put out a whole bunch of plans because it's really hard to keep them sometimes. It's really hard to keep deadlines or things like that. One of my hopes, I'll just call them hopes, not really goals, but let's call them hopes. One of my hopes this year is to be able to get more time to do content. And I do mean the type of content that I enjoy most, which is some of my higher end stuff, not always higher end, but I want to have some time to just do some ASMR type forging videos. So sometimes I'll talk. I don't mind educating. I don't mind instructing where there's something I can add value. But there's a lot of stuff I want to make, and I just want to capture it on film, you know, for future generations. So you're smart. You're smart people. You can tell when I'm spreading something out or when I'm using a chisel to split something. I don't need to tell you that, okay, I'm splitting this piece of metal now in two. Like, I don't need to tell you. Can use your eyes. You can see the thing getting split. But with that, I want to be able to I'm going to move the camera around a lot more, get a lot more switching camera angles in my work. It plays out better for the YouTube short side of things, for the Instagram and Facebook Reels and stuff like that. It works out a little bit better to have multiple camera angles of the same thing of whatever we're doing. And I'm one guy in the shop. Usually I don't bother. I keep it up just one static camera angle, and I just do a whole project that way. I want to do a little bit better at that. I want to take YouTube to that next level for me, for that next journey for me. I'd like to get back up to maybe having one video a week out. Again, it's kind of my hope. You know, it's my hope. It's my hope and goal for this year to do that, and to do a bunch of videos that are teaching type videos in a constructive way that helps out people and really help elevate the craft. So I'm just gnawing around. I've been designing in my head some real simple Baroque projects that I believe even a beginner can start on and start to really elevate your ironwork, right? To go from that kind of beginner stage and become more into the intermediate zone, right? Is where you start coming up into the intermediate, advanced stage of blacksmithing. And it's try to help all of you guys and gals out there kind of move up in your blacksmithing journeys and give you some like helpful tips and techniques. So I think I'm going to break up the videos this year into two types of videos. There's going to be videos where I pretty much, it's just you're watching me make a thing. It's just going to be a forging thing. It's complex. It's whatever. And then the second type of video, so it'll be a visually complex forging type videos. And then the second type of video that I plan on really investing into is tips and techniques. So really taking time to explain a very specific, difficult process out in detail, so you guys can, you know, move along in the journey, right? So you can help follow along with the channel. Unfortunately, on big YouTube channels, all channels, the highest group of people that watch YouTube are usually people who are watching tutorials. They're beginners, right? They're people who don't already know how to do a thing, and they're at the entry level stage. That's a large portion of people who follow guys like me, like Black Bear Forge, Alex Steele, Tabor Zalman, right? Any of the other great blacksmith YouTube channels out there. That's the main body, right? A customer base, if you will. That's the main viewership, is beginner level videos. But the problem is, that's always been at war with me because I'm not a beginner level blacksmith. I don't mind teaching beginners, but I don't want to teach beginners every hour of the day, right? There's a lot of my work that's not beginner centric. So I'm going to design some projects that are a good transitionary thing. So this way you get some of the more complex techniques I hope to show off and showcase on the channel. I just want to go ahead and preference this to say, you know, please do not think that this is me thinking too highly of myself or being arrogant. This is literally, these are just facts. There's a whole host of knowledge of things that are beyond beginner level, beyond intermediate level, and are bordering the mastery level of blacksmithing. So they're very hard to take and transcribe out for someone who's just made a nail for the first time and they've never done anything else. in their black. So it's a little harder to describe those things when we don't have the right transition media to talk about, right? Like if I'm making an ornate scroll, a really fancy scrolly hook with a forge welded collar, okay, you might have just made your first horseshoe nail hook. So you get the idea behind the hook portion, but all the rest of that information's foreign to you. And even though it's on the channel, you can look for it in different types of bites and information. I plan on doing a better job of breaking down, doing a deep dive on my bigger projects after they're made, right? So I can come down and I say, hey, okay, we're gonna really focus in on this one element that I made in this video. So this way I can help maybe grow people as smiths along that way. Hopefully that makes sense. Am I just rambling on, or does that make sense to people? People kind of getting that? They like that idea, hate that idea? I mean, if they hate it, it's going to happen anyhow. So, I mean, it's, unfortunately.
Ray Dahl said, mid-level requires mid-level tooling. That's half the battle.
Nope, absolutely don't. So mid-level, well, I guess in a way it does. You have to make some tools, yeah. But as I've stated for many a years now on the channel, and I'll continue to state, you may have heard the statement online get thrown around. It's not the tools that make the smith, right? It's the smith that makes the tools, right? Well, I believe I coined that one first, at least on YouTube. I've stuck by that statement. Most of what you see me do in the shop, all of this that I'm working on right now, have I used anything special? Haven't used a single thing special. I've used a flat surface to beat upon, and I've used a simple hammer, nothing else. There's a few simple tools with a lot of this ironwork, but a lot of it's up here. A lot of it's up here. Just head knowledge and knowing how to apply it. And that's the gap that I hope to bridge for you. In all of my content across all the years on YouTube, you will find very few power hammer videos. You'll find very few press videos. You'll find very few any type of specialty tool videos. What you will find across all 2,400 videos we have on YouTube is a lot of me standing here at an anvil with simple hand tools, making the majority of my iron work. And so that means if I can do it, you can too.
Keith says, I personally really enjoy the visually complex videos. If I can piece together techniques as I watch, I just want to see the process. If I question a technique, I can look up that one detail later.
Yep. Well, that's what I hope to produce, is videos that are along those lines. The main thing is so this way I don't have to shun away. I don't have to make the choice between producing a YouTube video or making the ironwork I actually want to make. So it's actually kind of interesting. Me and Thomas, we have some of these conversations during the shop. So Thomas is part of a, if you don't know yet, he's part of a Blacksmith challenge group. There you go, see that?
Uh-huh.
Anyways, so it brings up questions. Sometimes he likes to joke with me. He's like, "Oh, what?" Because I don't take part in the group very often at all. He likes to poke fun sometimes. You know, he's like, "Oh, what? You think you're too good for us, or this or that?" It's like, well, what are you making? Well, we're making dinner bells. I've already made dinner bells, like a boatload of dinner bells, in my career of smithing. Doesn't really interest me that much anymore. It's okay to be excited about making dinner bells, you know, especially if you've never made a dinner bell. Awesome, you know, it's great, but there's not too many things that I haven't already made that are along the intermediate to beginner side of things. So, not that it wouldn't be fun, it's just not a challenge to me, so to speak. And the whole point of it is for it to be a challenge to you, to increase your skill, right, as a smith. So for me, my main challenge challenge is finding the time to do truly masterful type work. And just give an idea, take a break here, Tessa, let me grab this thing.
All right.
I'm going to bring this over. For those who are new to the channel and maybe don't know me, this is what I'm talking about. So this type of work here is what I consider challenging, right? And so that type of work, again, all hand done, not a bunch of crazy specialized tooling, all hand done. There's a few special tools I had to do to undertake a couple different challenges that were involved in this, into producing this piece, but this is the type of thing that I find challenging, right? And this is the type of work that I want to do more of on YouTube. This is the type of work I want to film more of, and I want to be able to zoom in, take a deep dive this year, right? Like focus in on this element, right? One element of this and say, okay, we're going to do a deep dive on this, and we're going to dissect it, and I'm going to help you guys along, right? That's the kind of video work I want to do this year. Versus me make another bottle opener. I can't tell you how many hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of bottle openers I've made. They don't do anything for me. They don't get me excited or revved up or wanting to take and go do things in the shop when I just, a bottle opener, right? Or something simple like a basic little horseshoe nail hook or a fire poker, right? A colonial style fire poker. Those things don't get me going anymore. That's not the exciting things for me. So part of my time in the shop when I make my videos, I want to do this level type stuff, but break it down to where even a beginner could start through the process. Even if you're at that level where you're excited about bottle openers because it's the first one you've ever made, you can still draw off of something, that I've done on something big like this and translate it to something you're doing. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm hoping people are excited about that because I'm pretty excited about it. That's the type of content I want to do. So, go ahead.
Speargrass asks if that's the gilded one.
Yep, this is the one that's going to be gilded.
Ray Dahl says, I can't wait for more advanced stuff.
Did that come through on the camera okay?
Yeah. Or
was it hard to see?
It was fine.
It was fine?
Good.
Okay. Well, awesome. I'm glad you guys are happy. At least two.
Yeah. Possum says this month's challenge is a bell, very open-ended. He's thinking of stretching it to a desk bell. Lord help him, LOL.
See, so for me, if I want to make a bell, I do plan on making a bell this year, and it's going to be an automaton bell. So it'll be a bell that'll have a couple automatons in the works to make the bell ring. And I plan on making that a YouTube video. That's kind of some of the stuff I'm talking about, right? So it'll be a YouTube video of making a shop bell, making an automaton shop bell. That's what it'll probably be titled. And that'll be a visually impressive video. And then the second video will be called Mechanizing Your Ironwork, right? Like a little how-to. It'll be a little simplified process that you can start down that kind of path. Hopefully kind of see how that's going together. I mean, I'm tickled just thinking about it, but I really hope everybody else will be super, super stoked for that too as well.
Roger Caldwell says, I'm working on an old style hand school bell. Been an interesting project.
Oh yeah. I'm sure it has been. Bells are neat. Noisy, but neat. It's kind of the point of them, right?
Gnome's Ironworks says, I don't think I can make a bell, but I often ring my own bell. LOL. Fly Fisher says, I enjoy making plant steaks.
Very cool.
Let's see. Roger Caldwell says, that's an awesome gate.
Well, thank you.
Kingfisher says, have you ever injured yourself in a blacksmithing accident, especially when you first got started?
Yep, sure have. The biggest injury you'll get when you first get started in blacksmithing, honestly, is going to be, well, hand things. You see how hard I'm hitting this cutter, right? You know, missed strikes. You might get a few bumps and bruises on the old wristy-do. You'll have problems there, usually. Burns, a lot of burns on your fingers. That kind of happens throughout. Nothing too major though. You shouldn't get too much stuff. Maybe something in the eye occasionally, if you're not wearing your safety squints. Can they see that okay?
Yeah,
So you guys might notice something. There's a center bar there, isn't there? You see that?
Yep.
I know. I'm going to turn that into something cool. Now, the hook, right? We'll talk about this. This is a good example. Nothing I've done here has violated the fundamental processes of blacksmithing. Nothing about this here you can't do at your own shop. Take your time, forge out a nice even fishtail scroll. Starting with the raw bar, upset it a little bit so it has a nice swell on the end, then flatten that swell out in one plane down to the anvil. Then you have a simple fishtail on the end. Now you could scroll that up into a hook and it makes a very pleasing and attractive hook. The next step in the process that you could have done, if you wanted to make a true springtail hook, you would just split that fishtail down the center and then you would roll up those hooks. So you would split them apart and then you'd roll up those hooks separately, right? You would roll up those little finials separately and that makes a nice springtail little hook in on the end or a scroll. This could be a scroll, could be a hook. I'm turning this whole thing into a hook, but you get the idea, right? So that could be a very simple detail. That's just elevating it up by one stage. I've chosen to elevate it up yet another stage by leaving a center bar in the middle. I'm going to do something special with that center bar, but now I have a springtail to either side of that I'm going to flare out and do what I got to do with in order to scroll those up nicely. And then you'll see what I do with this final little middle bar that I'm creating just by adding two lines opposite of each other, just straight up the bar, using a simple slitting chisel and a soft face hammer to whack it. That's it. I'm chisel cutting through this. So I've upset something, I've drawn down and spread out something, and now I'm chiseling something. I'm cutting or splitting a piece. That's right there is 4 fundamental forging techniques, all in one little piece here. But at the end, this is going to look really elaborate, and you're going to be like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. But, you know, remember, it all came from a few simple processes strung together. It's not actually that crazy or hard to do. So just keep that in mind.
Awesome Sausage says, I've had a couple of dislocated fingers, tons of burns, and digging a piece of steel out of my arm from a spall off of a chisel, but other than that, I'm fine.
Yep. I would say one of probably the biggest health hazards in blacksmithing that you don't think about kind of early on is your lungs. Breathing in junk, right, in the shop. And usually it doesn't have to do with the forging portion of it, breathing in bad stuff from the forge. It comes from all the grinding and finishing and all that sort of stuff where you don't think about it and you end up getting that in your lungs. So that's worse for you than the forging, in my opinion.
Joe Vanek says, is that a 1/4-inch square bar of mild steel?
This?
Yep.
No, this is 1/2 inch square.
1/2 inch.
It's 1/2 inch square. I upset it on the end to roughly 3/4 square and then forge that out into a big fishtail. So now the thickness out at the end is probably 3/16 or maybe just a little under 3/16, slowly tapering back up to the original parent bar thickness.
G. Taylor, welcome.
Who?
G. Taylor.
Hello, hello. Good to have you.
Roger Caldwell says, I'd like to know how you did the scrolls on your gate. They look half flattened or scalloped. Don't you call those bevel scrolls?
Yeah, they're essentially beveled scrolls. The way I did them was a technique I came up with here in the shop. Now, when I say I came up with, here, I'll just show this off real quick to the camera.
Okay.
They see that splitting out?
Yep.
Okay, good. So let me explain. Whenever you're undertaking a complex problem, a complex forging, or a computational forging, something that has multiple pieces that all need to come together and all need to work out right, you are going to encounter complex problems that you have to solve, right? You're going to have different issues that you come up with in a shop. Any shop, no matter what project you make, you're like, oh man, I'm using too big of a hammer. It'd be really nice if I had a cross peen that was a little smaller to texture this rose. That is a fairly simple problem, right? That you can fix to a project that you might be working on. Same way with that. So when I say that I came up with something or I developed something, I mean from the sense, the concept of in my shop. I have no one to tutor me or teach me French Baroque ironwork. There's 0 people here in America that do that. 0. You type in French Baroque ironwork, my face is going to come up. So I'm it, guys. That's it. So taking and going through this process, trying to figure out how to do these bevel scrolls the way I wanted them to look into this grill project, I had to develop a different way of doing it than the classic way that you would develop a bevel scroll. The way you would normally develop a bevel scroll is you would forge a taper on the end of a bar, and then as you hammer it, you would hammer it in the flat, and you would roll and scroll as you go on the horn. So it's kind of like a weird offsetted taper thing, and it kind of rolls up into that beveled look of a scroll. It goes from the flat, and then it rolls up into that little scroll that you see that's at a bit of a diagonal. However, I was not able, because of all the forge welding I needed to do in order to forge weld the collars, I was not able to pre-scroll the bevel scrolls up and still forge weld on my collars. So I needed a different way. So the method that I developed was to do it in the flat. And those are more of a twist than they are a scroll. So I forged scrolls in the flat orientation, like a pair of handlebar mustaches, and then through a little bit of a trick, I won't get into it here too much because it's better shown than explained, but through a little bit of a trick of twisting, I was able to twist those then into the bevel scrolls that you see in that frame after my collars were forge welded up. So what it allowed me to do is it allowed me to pin the scrolls to the bar, all with my smiley faces pointing up out of the fire, which allowed me to get the body of those hot where the collars were going to be forge welded on at. I was able to get that hot without burning up my scrolls. Then I forge welded the collars in a swedge, made a special swedge to get up in there to help support it while I welded the collars up solid. And then afterwards, I twisted those scrolls down into place, if that makes sense. So it's very visually complex. So when you actually get to see this in person, which I hope that you all will be able to get to see here soon, probably not until about 2028, that'll be out along with a whole series of grills I'm producing. So in 2028, you guys will get to see that, but it's a very visually impressive, gives a lot of depth, a lot of character to it. I might go over some of that in, like I said, some snapshot videos here on the YouTube channel at some point. Go ahead, hon. You can just leave it on the main cam.
Okay.
Give me questions. I had to go to the
Sure.
lice here.
All right.
I don't want to move the camera.
Speargrass says, I haven't seen Roy's forged pointer finger for a while. Has it been repurposed?
Nope. It's still here.
Danimals Creation says, Roy, you should take a trip to France to get hands-on learning from a French Baroque master.
It would be hard to find somebody who's a Baroque master, even in France these days. There's not too many people who call themselves Baroque masters or focus on that as their main line of work. Now, it doesn't mean there isn't people in France, and doesn't mean I wouldn't mind going. I definitely would love to go at some point to that. That would be awesome. So, Jessica and I have talked about that quite a bit. Doing any international traveling or anything like that, I'm going to wait until my kids are grown. So spending more time with my family right now than growing necessarily as a blacksmith when it comes to that department. But hopefully I won't be a complete noob whenever I show up over there. I'll be able to at least understand their material. But that would definitely be handy to go learn from people who've worked on basilicas and worked on gates and Versailles and the Palace of Versailles and things like that. That would be really sick, wouldn't it, hon?
Yeah.
So I am definitely for it.
Which kind of answers Flyfisher's question on your favorite thing to make. Baroque things.
Yep, Baroque things, yep.
Ray Dahl says, I knocked out 10 leaf hooks today. Hope to double that with speed with time.
Very cool. You will. Time is a great sorter of all things. If you have bad skills right now, you'll have better skills later. All you gotta do is just keep at it.
David Reednor says, I would love a video on a forged trivet. I haven't checked yet to see if Roy has made one, but that would be something I would like to make.
I made one on YouTube. That was all forged.
Yeah, we also recently added, we do kits also at our website, and just about a month ago we added some animals, like some elk trivet, a deer trivet, moose, and a bear.
People see how I spread that?
Uh-huh. Ray Dahl says that would make a gnarly weapon, Roy, or a neat chicken foot.
Oh, this here? Chicken foot?
Chicken foot.
A duck foot?
Is Roy's mic seeming like it's cutting out in and out a little bit?
Yeah, is my audio still good or is it bad? You look at the audio, am I still picking up? Am I coming in hot there still?
Yeah.
It shows my mic connected?
Yeah, it shows you. Uh-huh.
Okay. Might be popping in and out because of the hammer work.
Yeah.
Potentially. voice.
Nice. Yeah, they say it only cuts out when you walk away, so it's probably
Say
just
what?
the mic only cuts out when you walk away, so it's probably just a direct contact thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if
Try
you're
to flip it here real quick. Maybe that'll help. It won't be so insulated from the thing.
Ken Foster says, how long do you think it'll be till we see AI-generated blacksmith how-to videos?
Good luck. So, you know the easiest way to stem off AI stuff and all that things? Just don't watch the videos that are AI, that are clearly AI enhanced or AI generated. Just don't watch them. And then you don't have to worry about it, right? So don't laugh at them, don't linger on them, don't thumbs them up, right? Whatever. And then guess what? Money talks to the big tech industry. So the dollars will flow to the ones that are real human beings versus AI bots. Right now, it's just a big social test. How much suckering can we get people to do to fall into the system? And if they can sucker you good, then guess what? You're just a sucker in their system. They're more than happy to serve you as much ridiculous content as you would like to see.
Yep.
Couldn't like it more. I personally, call me an old fuddy-duddy, so I'm perfectly okay with technology. I'm using technology right now to come to you across the internet on a platform that was created by a bunch of nerdy guys and gals and whoever, all figuring all this sort of stuff out. So I am not an anti-technology person. That's not really who I am. It's just, there's certain stuff. I don't like the AI stuff. I just don't. I don't like the AI things, so I just don't watch it, don't put up with it, I don't engage with it. The second I see something that even remotely looks AI, I swipe on by. I don't care whose it's from. I just don't like it. Doesn't matter if you want to use it, you want to use AI for whatever, maybe you got to use it in your work, maybe you think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, more power to you. I don't care. That doesn't bug me at all. But it's just not for me. So I don't have to, it's like you might like chocolate ice cream, I may like Rocky Road. We can still be friends. But one thing I'm definitely not into is just AI. AI is just not my thing. Can they see that okay?
Uh-huh.
So I did I did a conveniency bend these things out of the way. And I forged this out. Just a little bit. I'm going to end up forging it a bit more.
David Ridnor says I would, oh yeah, sorry, I read that one already. He says, the trivet I am thinking of is a butterfly-themed trivet, so scroll work to make the wings, and then bend the ends of the scrolls to make the legs of the trivet, and forge weld the pieces together.
Could be interesting.
Yeah, some of those scrolls you make do kind of look like butterflies, depending on how you turn them.
Yeah, could be interesting to see how that goes.
Ray Dahl says, by the way, for richer or poor, I'm retiring on the 9th and I'm a full-time blacksmith.
Oh, awesome, Ray. That is awesome to hear, brother. Congratulations. Way to work to get to the place where you can retire. Good job. Well done, sir.
St. Galano Armory says, when can we expect the Roy versus Thomas arm wrestling match?
As soon as Thomas feels froggy enough to jump. We'll have to do that one live stream. Maybe this next Christmas live stream. What's funny is I outweigh Thomas by about 97 pounds, so I won't be an easy arm wrestling match for him. We can say that much. He's probably stronger than me by a long shot.
Gary Graham, have a good evening.
Who's that?
Gary Graham.
Hey, take care, Gary. Good to see you. Long time no see. Sorry I didn't hear from you earlier in the comment section. All right, it's ready to twist stuff. Go ahead, Jess.
Yep. Speargrass had said, I'm still waiting for Roy to forge a round tuit.
A round what?
Tuit, T-U-I-T. I don't know what that is. If anyone can, Roy can.
A round
Tuit. You'll have to tell us what that is, Speargrass.
I don't know what.
Was it one of those autocorrect things?
It might be our autocorrect thing. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what he's saying.
Keith is telling Thomas to drive down here for the challenge, the arm wrestling challenge. He says, watch out, he's got the bionic finger.
Yeah, I think I can take him.
Oh, is it a joke? Around to it? Like around to it, but spelt differently? I think it's a verbal joke.
They messing with you, Jeff?
Yeah,
Is
probably.
that what they're doing?
Get around to it. Okay. I get it now. One of these days
So
I'll get
I don't know if
around
they can see
to
this
it.
okay or not. Might need
Yeah.
to move it. I'm going to punch
spike.
this in a little bit more. Give me a second, Jess. You can go to camera number 1 for now.
Okay.
So let me move this in a little bit more. Now I'm getting into more of the detail type stuff. That'll be all right. There we go. Can they see that okay now? I moved it in about more.
Yes, that's better.
Can they see the twist?
Yep.
Okay. I got to heat it up a little bit more in here, so I got to cool this down and twist it a bit more so it twists more back up in here. But that'll be good.
I was just mentioning to Speargrass that we were, that our daughter's nearly done with her book. We're in the final editing stages now. She's been arranging illustrations in KDP and tweaking the cover and stuff like that.
She's doing good.
And Speargrass says that his book is still coming. He's in the 3rd run edit, over 500 pages and 19,500 words.
Woohoo!
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Content. Yeah.
Or it sounds like a lot to all you book nerds out there.
Thomas says he just got done shaking hands with horses.
Just got done doing what, Jess? You have to talk up.
Shaking hands with horses.
Oh, okay. Hard habit for him to break.
Deer Creek Canyon Fort says enjoying the live stream.
Awesome. So glad you're enjoying it.
Robert Lana says Thomas should film himself doing a video of trimming horses.
I think that's about as far as I want to take that. If you push it a little too far, sometimes you get some cracking and stuff. I kind of like the way that leads in. Looks pretty good. Can I see that?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. Heat this back.
The Namron Kidder says, I picked up one of your copper spatula kits. Any other tips or tricks on making those other than what you went over on your videos? It's for the wife, so I'll surprise her if it turns out good.
A tip and a trick, keep everything clean. Like if your anvils have a bunch of pits in the surface or nicks or damage to your hammer faces, pick a hammer, go get your garage sale fine one or something like that, and make a really nice smooth face, like a 220 grit finish on. It'll make the whatever you're hammering on, give it a bit of a sand too. Make sure it's a nice 220 grit finish. And if you put those two together, it makes a really nice smooth look. Gives you a really good, nice, classy feel to it. When it comes to the actual making of the thing, pretty much all the information is solid. That's in the videos there for making ladles. Not too much to add on that I didn't kind of go over already in those videos. So yeah, and thank you for purchasing those, by the way. Said I was happy, but then I said I wasn't. All right, that will make me more happy. Good.
Speargrass calls Thomas an equine nail tech.
Oh, ho, whoa.
The nail tech.
Sends them to the equine nail salon, huh?
Fly Fisher says, I'm wanting to switch to a coal forge. Would it be best to build one or buy one?
If you're wanting to switch to a coal forge, I would just buy a fire pot and a blower online from a reputable company, and then I would just build the body myself. When you get those things all put together and someone's built a body, they're a little overpriced, in my opinion. They have to be overpriced because somebody's got to get paid back for their time. So if you have more time than you have money, I suggest that you buy the necessary pieces like the blower and the fire pot, and then get, the fire pot and tweer and all that. You get that plus the blower, and then you can put it in any type of body you want, and then make that up on the spot to fit your space. That would be my suggestion to you. If you don't have the space, if you don't have the time to do that, then obviously buying is your option. Buying is going to be the option you want to go with. If you don't feel like you have the time, how do I say? If you don't feel like you have time to take and build, then you're going to have to buy, and that's your only option there. But as far as just which one's better, you're going to have to do a mix of buying anyhow. Get a good fire pot. You can fabric cobble a fire pot together, and they're okay. There's nothing wrong with doing a fabricated fire pot, but the ones that are available to you nowadays are so much better than fabricated. So you might as well just go buy one on the internet. That's me advice. Camera number 2.
Yep.
Still there?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you're gonna do that to me.
He says, Lauren's laughing at all the comments about Thomas, the horse nail tech, LOL. And he says, sometimes I do put polish on the hooves. Make them shine.
Hey, they want to feel pretty sometimes too.
Robert Lana says, is Roy making a turkey foot hook?
Nope. Just wait and see, my friend. Just wait and see. The suspense is killing you.
Thomas says, I could do a funny skit of me picking up Roy's foot and nipping it and rasping it.
Doing what?
Nipping and rasping your foot.
My toenails never get that out of hand. Plus, I'm a kicker and a biter.
Kicker and a biter.
I'm a kicker and a biter.
Danimal's guess is it's a fire poker.
What, that I'm working on?
Yeah.
No, it's a hook. It's a fancy hook. Anybody see what's going on
Yeah.
there?
Yes, yeah, the twist. Yep,
Okay.
the twisty
Trust
spike
me,
in
you
the
may
middle.
not understand it yet, but it's going to look better here in a second.
David Redner guessed a forged lawn dart.
A lawn dart?
Yeah. Kingfisher says it's the tail of a phoenix rising from the flames.
Boy, then, the interesting minds of these folks. Interesting indeed.
Jeff Killian says unicorn horn.
A unicorn horn?
Uh-huh. Ray Dahl says, I don't wear suspenders because the suspense was killing me.
Yo. Cigarette.
Nameron Kidder says a propeller for a boat motor. Hey, they're all reasonable guesses.
And just impatient to find out what Roy's doing, huh? As I speak about myself in the third person. I'll be good enough here. I'm just using a little swedge tool.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much like a double butcher. So on which side I want to do it from. Do it from this side here because it looks a little nicer. Nice.
Keith says he's forging a knife.
Oh yeah, that's definitely one there, Keith. Forging a knife.
Speargrass thinks it's an otter.
Say what?
It's an otter.
Yep, there it is. It's an otter. Bunch of kooks, these people are. Bunch of weirdos. With wrong guesses. On all fronts.
David said it's the actual toilet knife. The joke's on us.
Here. There you go, you bad boy.
Ray Dahl says he's making a bee. Started with the stinger and wings first until he unfolds it. Speargrass says, I am so a weirdo. You have spoken to me. You know this.
So, what I'm really making here is I'm making what many a master smiths for many a years have done, which is a in their ironwork. So, I am changing what is expected. This is one of the biggest things I love about Baroque ironwork is I'm taking something that should just be simple. Make a fishtail scroll, make a hook. Just be done with it, right? And then I'm adding little techniques, little things along the way. I keep elevating, I keep changing things, and then I'm faking some stuff in here. Makes you think, oh, when you look at this, you're like, oh, there's 3 bars welded together there. There is not. It was 1 bar. It's a blacksmith puzzle. It's something for later on in future generations to be like, how did he do that again? And you have to take it a little closer look than just cursory, oh, I could do that, right? So I'm playing tricks on the eyes. As it were.
Chuck says, and I thought I was the only one who tells and talks to the steel, LOL.
Who does what?
Tells and talks to the steel.
Tells and talks to the steel. Yeah.
Key said, or he's making a fly to buzz around on the bowl here in the comments, LOL.
All right. Now I believe I've got everything set up for success the way I want it. It's looking good. Cleaned up the areas I need to look good. Now it's time to make the magic happen.
Magic. Speargrass says, so you're making something simple, overly complicated. Yep, sounds like a master. LMAO.
Basically.
Danimal says, cut the long end off and you got a fighter jet.
Yeah, put a little spear point on it. See, you could, right? You could use that techniques. There's a lot of shapes. One fun thing to do when you're forging, especially when you're first getting started out in your shop, challenge yourself to make some weird stuff. Just go out, try to hammer out something, see what shapes develop. Try to take those shapes, add them to other shapes, see what shapes develop out of those, and just kind of keep working through that process. You're making scrap, yeah, but you're having a good time. Yeah, you're wasting muscle energy and fatigue, but you never know when you kind of come across a process that you never would have thought about otherwise by just spending a little time experimenting at the anvil. And it makes it worth it. All right, now over the horn. You ready, Jess?
Yep.
Now starts the scrollages. It'd be a little easier to do if this wasn't in the gas forge. I like coal forge for traditional work for this reason. It's not impossible to do in a gas forge, it's just easier to do in coal. Because you can really direct versus just kind of getting it everywhere. Starting to roll her up now. Everybody see that?
Uh-huh. Roger Caldwell asked if you practiced your project before a live stream or if you just wing it.
Nope. I never practice a project before a live stream. So only time that happens is if I'm already currently working on a project and I'm just needing to get more further along on that project that I already started off the live stream. But nope, everything's raw, unfiltered.
Josh Montgomery says a horse hoof pick for Thomas. Speargrass has a wigwam for a goose's bridle. Possum says that's a nice rawhide mallet. Are you still using the one I made you?
Yep. Well, this one isn't. This isn't the one that you made me. I've got the other one over there. I happened to decide to use this one a little bit because it's a little flatter across.
Chuck says it's the new and improved finger pointer.
Close, but not quite.
Ken Foster says a tulip stamen.
The what?
Tulip stamen.
Tulip stamen.
Yeah.
Nope, don't think that either. All right. Try to.
Danimal says he's just letting the steel do what it's going to do in relation to how he hits it.
Try to get this as good to the camera as I can to show off what I'm doing. That's actually sometimes the hardest thing part about YouTube. Showing off stuff to people. It's not quite where I need it yet. Just gotta see a neat little thing developing, huh?
Yep. Robert Lana says, looks like Mr. Thing flipping the bird.
I knew someone was going to say it. Until it's finished, it's probably going to continue to look like that, unfortunately.
Let's see. King's Fisher here in Michigan, it's 7:35 p.m.
It's what?
7:35 p.m. He says okay. There in the UK, it's 12:35 a.m.
Wow, okay. Midday. Hello from the future. Or from the past.
Keith asked if you have any criticism on the mallet he made you. It was a deer rawhide, so I wasn't sure how well it would work.
The only criticism I have on the deer rawhide is it's a little soft. It's a bit soft. So, against harder objects or things that aren't just quite nuclear, like super hot, it has a tendency to deform a lot more and smoke off a bit more. But other than that, I mean, it's an awesome mallet. They don't really have any complaints per se. It's just the nature of the mallet. Just kind of what it does. I'm using my scrolling tongs here to get exactly the kind of curl I want, in the exact place I want. And it allows me to twist this piece, get the right amount of tuck. So to get the right amount of tuck and curl and all that jazz, starts looking really nice. These are meant to be kind of like a cone. So the inside's supposed to be wider. Then as you go to the outside of these, they are supposed to curl in just a little tighter towards the outside edges of these. It kind of gives a little different effect. You guys start seeing how that goes. You like it?
Yeah. Looks like it could be a peacock's tail too, or a rooster.
Oh, you can turn it in all sorts of things.
Yeah.
It's not done yet, but I'm getting there. Got a little more to do on this one. I like this side. I just need to work on this side.
Radal says, nice heavy-duty scrolling tongs. Are those a Roy Adams special?
No, I actually bought these years and years and years ago off of a guy at Quad State out in Southern Ohio, at SOFA, or Southern Forge. Southern Ohio Forge and Anvil is where I bought them at. These were made by Bob. I'm gonna forget his name. I forget his last name.
There's quite a few Bobs around there. Bob Dushank, Bob Becker.
Sadly, he's passed. He passed from cancer, but. Bob, I'll think of his last name. You know. It's been a while since I've had to remember that, actually. So. There we go. Now Daddy likes. Now we're getting where we want to be. Now I'm not going to go with this too far. As with all hooks, you want to make some of your other elements first before you continue fidgeting with your finial. Your finial should be the last thing you kind of fidget with the most to get just right. We're going to get it close. We're going to get it close to what we want, and then we'll do some adjustments later, you know, because I might actually need to come in here, grab a hold of this whole thing, and give her a slight little skosh over. One side looks like I rolled it a little much. The other side looks like I didn't roll it quite as much. So all those little tweaks can come later, but because we got some other forging to do on this hook, it's not good to do that now, because I'm just going to undo what I do and then do and undo and do again and undo and do and do again and undo and do all that. So this is the point where I stop hitting it for now. You can see that?
Uh-huh.
Is that neat or what?
Yeah, that is neat.
Is that finial?
Yes.
So the reason why I back chase this up the bar a little bit is for this exact purpose. It flows better into that twisted section. Really hard to show it off on all the angles, but now you guys will see this last part once I get to it here. You're gonna like it, trust me.
David Redner says a creepy door knocker.
A creepy door knocker?
Danimal says looks like the hand of someone with really bad rheumatoid arthritis.
Jeez, man. I don't know what our chat has been watching lately, but man, your minds just run wild.
Ray Doll says nice foot, but I don't think you'll have the time to finish the rest of the chicken before the live stream's over.
Yeah, it'll be next. It'll be next live. All right, go back to the ammo cam.
Mr. Dale, it is 1/2 inch that was upsetted.
Yep, we're going to definitely make this a Baroque hook yet. It's going to be amazing. Yeah.
A swan.
And we'll keep curling that up. You start seeing it?
Uh-huh, yeah.
And remember, this is going to be a hook, so this is just the finial. So this is going to go back this way. It's going to hook back this way. Heat that up a bit more. The other thing I like about coal over gas a bit more is when you put it in there for small details like this, when you get down to these final stages, the gas forge doesn't know to like turn off the air, so it just keeps dumping the same amount of air and fuel mixture into the fire. Whereas in coal, you could just not crank the blower. You just turn off the blower, stick it back in the hottest part of the fire, and it'll come up to heat naturally, but it'll have much, much less scale on it than like the gas forge. So you end up having to really, I feel like you end up having to do too much sometimes on the coal, on the gas forge cleanup work. Sometimes it just feels like you're just constantly cleaning up your work, constantly. And that can be a bit annoying.
Josh Montgomery says a T-Rex hand.
Now at these stages, where I'm at now, I want to be real careful not to crunch down on the finer details of stuff. So I made that little scroll.
Yep.
I'm being very careful not to bite too hard or whatever and wreck my twisting that I did to that little finial piece. Being real careful with that. So I only grab a hold of it on like lower heats. Don't take it up to hot and crush down on it. Being real genteel with it. Now we're getting real close to where it's going to be. hot. Take a little swing on that just to bump it. Got a little tiny twist in that hook, just a touch of a twist. I'm gonna knock that out of it.
Kingfisher says with some twist on the main bar, it would make an amazing oak leg table leg.
Yep, exactly. Lots of different ways you could use this little finial form here. And I will guarantee right now, I guarantee you haven't seen this finial on YouTube anywhere else. Or probably anywhere else in your regular forging journeys. I can pretty much guarantee. Not that it doesn't exist, it's just this type of ironwork is just simply not done. And that's what's so intriguing to me about it. It's what gets me going. It really is. Final amount. All right, we'll call that. I think I'm gonna be happy with that for now. Good enough. One of those, if anybody wants to do it better, they're more than welcome to give it a go. You never know what you might come up with. Might be better than anything I ever could have.
We have another Daniel joining us.
We have who?
Another Daniel.
Another Daniel?
Daniel Crawford.
Well, that's one too many Daniels.
Aw.
Nope, gotta put them back. Throw them back. Too many Daniels.
He said, sorry, in the hospital, dealing with tests and doctors and such, heart failure again.
Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that, Mr. Crawford. Yeah, you just had to wait to read me that part, didn't you?
Oh, did I mess you up?
After I said too many Daniels.
Yeah.
You just had to wait to read me that part. That was a little late there, girl.
Yeah.
That makes me sound like an insensitive jerk.
Bad timing.
Huh?
Roy doesn't see the comments until I say it. Well,
yeah, I don't see the
he only
comments.
hears whatever I read, so.
All I have is Jessica's commentary
Yeah.
to go off of. And sometimes it's incomplete.
Yeah, it can be.
For context, so I do apologize. There, that's better that way. Looks better, looks better, looks good. Good enough. Gotta stop it there. That part. What do you think?
Yeah, that is cool. I really like the scrolly bits. It's really fancy. That's neat, hun.
This is fun.
Yeah.
Now I gotta make a really fancy shank for the rest of the hook.
Alternating twist.
I'll have to think about how I want to do the rest of it.
Yeah.
Might leave it plain. Might really make it wild. We'll have to see. What do you think?
They say, very cool. Robert Lana says, I love that.
See, we got there in the end.
Yep.
You guys went from, huh? What is he doing? This thing looks stupid. To, ah, it is stupid. Wow. It's as dumb as I thought. I think before I proceed on this, I think next live stream, I'm actually going to do this in the next part in coal. It'll be so much easier to do it than do it in gas.
Yeah.
I wanted to get through making the finial portion and not go too wild, but I think I want to do some fluting. I want to do a four-sided fluted bar. up through here and then twist it up. So I can show you guys what a fluted twist would look like.
Yeah.
A 4-sided fluted twist.
That would be crazy. Ray Doll says he might give that a try tomorrow.
Yeah, give it a go. So, I'll turn this off real quick. Woo,
yeah.
Man, it's awful loud. I always forget how loud a gas forge is, you know, when it's been running like that. Set this off to one side. Put this down here a little bit. So I'll let that sit there. And I'll bring over a chair, and we'll do some Q&A real quick.
Sure.
And then I'll talk a little bit more about some of the exciting stuff coming up. And we'll go over some of the details. How's that sound?
Sure.
Yeah? Good. Ah.
See, Namron Kidder says, that thing is badass. Thank you guys for having this live stream tonight. It was so cold in my shop. The forge told me no. Thank you when I went to light it. Plus all my quench water was frozen solid.
Hey, well, you're very welcome. Very welcome. So the couple things real quick, and then we'll get into some Q&A and some comments and stuff. We can definitely get your comments. Sounds like everybody's liking it so far, enjoying it. Nothing that I did this evening is really magical. None of it is unobtainable. This is what I really want to get across my channel this year in 2026. When I do these deep dives and I do some more explanations, and I make some pretty ornate, simple projects. And when I call them simple, that's not me being facetious. It literally is simple. It's something you can do. It's something you can try. You can elevate your ironwork to that level. A really good example of this is I'm going to throw him under the bus. Possum Sausage. Possum Sausage took a forge welding intensive class with me. Oh, I don't even know how many years ago that was now. What is it? 4 years? It's been 4 years?
Probably. That sounds
almost
right.
5 years ago that he took a forge welding intensive class with me. And prior to that class, a lot of forge welding was kind of mystical to him. It was kind of, he would get welds, but then sometimes they were good, sometimes they weren't, sometimes he would miss welds and it wouldn't weld, and he just kind of didn't know where to go with it. And so he came up here to my shop, and I taught him an in-person class, and we focused we did a short abbreviated version of a forge welding intensive that I like to teach at different, blacksmithing schools. And so we walked through the process of forge welding, and Keith, he took that and ran with it. Once it was just demystified a little bit, now he's welded stuff I've never done. He's done things, he's made forge welds and have accomplished forge welds that I've never had even the inclination to even try since taking that class with me, that kind of forge welding intensive. And that has been really awesome to see his journey over the last 4 or 5 years of doing that and constantly elevating. But it kind of took that, this is this big scary thing that I don't know how to do. I see everyone else doing it, and to different degrees of difficulty, and maybe they do get it, maybe they don't. There's all this mixed information. And because it was simply demystified, it wasn't like I had some sort of special sauce he didn't have. All I had was experience that he didn't have. I had the ability to see when things were molten, when it was time to pull out. I was able to correct some habits of his, some bad habits and confidence issues. And then that was it. That's all I did. That's all I did for him. And the rest has all been him. The rest has all been him. All of his successes, all of his crazy stuff where he welds one thing to another thing that shouldn't even go together. But, he's like a freaking forge welding smithing legend now, okay? Which is awesome. And I had just a very small part to play in that, which, brings me a lot of happiness on the inside. But I hate to throw him under the bus, but I just wanted to use him as an example, because when I'm talking about this type of ironwork that I'm doing, Baroque ironwork, I am kind of like a pioneer, and I'm just reporting back. my findings. And when I'm doing that on YouTube, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to say I'm the best in the world. I'm not trying to say I am the most masterful in the world. You know, I could argue that some of my ironwork that I have produced over the time has been on par with some of the greatest blacksmiths in history, as far as quality and amount of work and effort and time that went into them. But I'm more interested in my legacy being bringing other people along and helping other people grow themselves as smiths, training up that next, you know, generation of smiths that will either outlive me or outperform me, just like Keith has, right? That is my goal, and that's my aim in 2026 and going beyond with the Blacksmithing YouTube channel here on YouTube. And so it's not just to stay at base level, baseline, stay at beginner projects only do very, you know, crude items that can be done in 3 minutes for me, right, and maybe 30 minutes for you. I don't want to do that. I want to bring up the bottom line of blacksmithing a bit more and raise all ships if I can be the rising tide. And so that's the aim of it. So this simple project that we worked on this evening, this is simple. This is simple. Any of you can go out to your shops tonight, tomorrow, next day, this weekend, whenever you've got a chance, right? You can go out and you can do everything that I just did in this stream and start applying it to your own ironwork. Maybe make your wife a really nice wife or husband. Make them a really nice hook. Make them a really nice shelf bracket, right? Where you were going to just put a simple little taper on the end of something, elevate it a little bit with some chisel work and maybe some twists, or maybe just start with the fishtail and make a nice fishtail on the end of it. You know, it doesn't have to be the most elaborate thing in the world, but give yourself some leeway to kind of experiment and play with that in your work. And nothing that I've done is magical. Like I said, none of it is like this is information that I held. I didn't go talk to some great ancestor somewhere, you know, and called them up on the phone and like, hey, talk to me in French and how did you do the such things? I didn't do that. This is just literally, it was me winging it. I didn't even have a plan when I first started the stream. All I knew is I wanted to make a hook of some kind. I just wanted to get into forging and just make a hook. It's been a while since I made a hook. And I said, hey, if I'm going to make something, I might as well make it Baroque. And the ideas kind of just start pouring in and flowing. And my eye was informing that, oh, you know what, I think I'm going to do it like this. I think this would be fun. This would be neat to do it this way. So if I can do that just off the cusp, you with just a little bit of planning should be able to do something even better than what I came up with this evening. So hopefully that's an encouragement to you all out there. That's what this channel is about, is encouraging other smiths. That's what I hope to continue to do here in 2026 and beyond for the next decade that will be on YouTube. With that being said, I'll shut up for a moment and I'll take some Q&As, and then
Sure.
then we'll talk a little bit more about, you know, some of the things we got going on this year.
Keith says, 1,000,000%. The greatest piece I took away from those lessons is that it's about 10% experience and 90% confidence. You are solely the reason for the monster I am today.
For the better or worse, Keith, for the better or worse.
Joe Van X says, where do you get or purchase the metals that you use, such as the half-inch bar you're using tonight?
All of my metals currently that I get in is purchased through Alro. It's the only kind of real steel game in town that's close enough to me that's not 3.5 hours away. So I either have to drive 3.5 hours to get to a scrapyard that'll sell me steel, or I have to drive 6.5 hours to my old scrapyard, my old stomping grounds where I could buy steel at. So Alro is new steel, and so far it's the cheapest thing in the game. Doing the CNC business, I can throw stuff I need for the blacksmithing shop in on my steel orders that I get for the CNC side of the shop, and that makes it a lot more economical for me because I'm buying tons and tons of steel at a time. So multiple tons, like 3-4 tons of steel at a time, and so that allows me to get it for a lot cheaper, you know, a lot discounted prices. So that's kind of how all my new materials is. Barring that, over the time that I've been smithing, which has almost been 20 years now, I have picked up every bit of scrap steel you can imagine from all sorts of places, nefarious and non-nefarious places that you can imagine. I've picked up, I got a boatload of scrap steel. I've had shop buyouts where I've bought out other guys' blacksmith shops. I've had stuff just given to me by the truckloads before. So yeah, a lot of things went into that. So it really is an eclectic mix in my shop. I keep looking over here to my right, or my right shoulder. I have probably 20 tons worth of various bits and bobs of steel over there. And not all that's brand new. The majority of that's all scrap material. But the steel tonight was, if I remember correctly, I did buy half-inch bar stock in for a project, and yeah, so this is just a scrap piece off of that. So, yep.
Good night, Dana.
Good night, Dana. Take care. God bless you, brother.
Fly Fisher says, is there any way to keep quench water from freezing? And one way, a couple people have recommended just dropping a piece of hot steel in it. Robert Lanas said the stock tank heater method would work.
Really, stock tank heater is your best bet if you got a lot of water to keep from freezing up. They do make like heated stock bowls for like bowls for dogs, goats, sheep, stuff like that. They make heated livestock containers that are already like buckets that are heated. That's probably going to be your best bet. The other way to keep them from freezing up is to dump them out at the end of the day and just refill them at the new start of every day. That way they don't freeze.
Ken Foster says, have you found a 4140 supplier for your dies that you sell yet?
So the best place, I'm going to be getting it from Alro. I believe I've settled on the type of 4140 to do. The next step for me is to pretty much buy in a tester bar and see if it's actually going to work out. The problem I had before is they had it set up for machining, so everything was 20 to 40 thousandths of an inch over what it should be. So it doesn't sound like a lot to people, but it's a bunch. It's a bunch. Like, you would have had to grind off a lot of the die material that I'm selling you would have been powder 4140 in order to have a die, and that wasn't going to be acceptable. So right off the cusp. So the type of material I'm looking into now, I do believe I have found it. It's just I've had to prioritize certain things. So when I go to buy that, it's fairly expensive. So I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, so to speak. So hopefully in my next steel purchase, steel and copper purchase, which will probably be sometime mid-February, hopefully I can put at least one bar of the type of bar as a tester bar. That way, if it doesn't work out, I'm only out $100 or $130, and I'm not out, $3,000 buying it in bulk. So hopefully we can do that and get some 4140 die stock into the shop.
Josh Montgomery says, do you have any experience with a ribbon burner? Is it as good as advertised?
So I have very limited experience with ribbon burners. My thoughts on ribbon burners, I have worked in a ribbon burner forge versus, a double burner, single burner, all the various types of forges. I have worked in a ribbon burner forge before. I feel they're overrated. I don't it's a bit overrated. That's all I gotta say. It's not that it's a bad forge or it's a better forge. I think it's just an overrated forge. So it's an overrated forge concept. Now, again, people who make ribbon burner forges will probably skin me alive for saying so, but I really think it's just kind of more of a gimmick. The only thing that matters is the interior of the forge being insulated really well and getting hot. right? Like that's it. It's got to come up to temperature, and then your bars of steel absorb that temperature. How you choose, whether you want to put 6 burners in there to do that, 2 burners, 1 burner, you want to do Venturi, or you want to do, do an atmospheric force where you blow in air to it. However you want to take and get that heat achieved, is fine. It's fine. I wouldn't say they're more efficient. They're not more anything like that. But that is a, how want to say that? That is a subjective truth, not an objective one. So what that means is I haven't done the math. I haven't checked the efficiency difference between a ribbon burner versus a regular burner forge. I haven't done any of those type of calculations to actually say. So there might be a small edge difference for a ribbon burner, but I don't think it justifies the cost. Juice isn't worth the squeeze, so to speak. That's my opinion. There's so many cheap 1 burner and dual burner forges out there that if you just insulated them with like 2 inches of K-wool and then put refractory cement over them, like you would have a good serviceable forge for a really long time. For just a couple $100. So spending a couple $1,000 on a gas forge just because it has a ribbon burner in it doesn't appeal to me, so to speak. So
Ken Foster asked if natural gas is as good as propane, because he has natural gas at his house.
So I personally think that, so natural gas has a bit more pep. I could be corrected if I'm wrong on that. I believe it has a bit more BTUs per hour that it's capable of. The problem with natural gas is it's low pressure. It's really low pressure gas. We're talking quarter a pound, half pound of pressure type situation versus what you get in propane. So I don't know. I have not met enough smiths who are running natural gas forges in their shop on the regular. I know it's really cheap. It's dirt cheap in comparison to propane, having a big tank set or whatever. Natural gas is way cheaper. If I could hook up my forges to natural gas, our house is on natural gas, so I wouldn't mind running a line out to the shop and using natural gas to run a forge. Although I just don't think that I could potentially. It would be too much of a headache, generally speaking. Mm-hmm. So.
Fly Fisher says I use a single burner forge and put fire brick around it to keep it hotter.
Yep. Insulation, that's your main thing. Insulation, the lack of insulation is the enemy of heat. So retention. If you want something to get hot, you got to insulate it. You got to seal it up, close up doors, leave just a little crack, just enough for the gases to escape, and then it'll get blistering hot in there, whether it's got 1 burner going or 2 or 3 or 10, Only difference is how quickly it gets there.
Speargrass says you need forced air due to the low pressure, making a ribbon burner worth it, but LPG is better for naturally aspirated. Yep,
I would definitely probably say that 100%. Speargrass, you make some good points there.
GIJ Forge says, "Hey, I'm sorry I'm late. Here, I'll give you a little preview of what we made during the stream there."
You can always watch it on the replay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a little finial that's on the end of a hook. So this is going to be a hook. A big hook, but it's going to be a hook. Neat little finial. Little springtail finial. Cool.
Kingfisher says a YouTube blacksmith named Joshua Delisle makes some crazy stuff using laser cut plate steel to make sculptures, etc. Have you ever thought about a project combining multiple techniques?
Yeah, so I have used quite a bit. So like my Acanthus leaves, they're plasma cut out on my CNC plasma cutter. So all my Kansas leaf shapes that I've added to stuff, that I've added to Ironwork personally has been a multi-process thing. I've done a lot of different sculptural work over time. I've done a lot of different forge fab type stuff that's employed almost every kind of tool you can think of to get done. So yep, I've done all sorts.
JJ Forge says, "Ooh, that's cool." About your finial.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Possum says that's a really nice looking scroll finial.
Well, thank you. Yeah, so subject of blacksmithing and technology. Let's talk about that for a second. It's a good little point. Call it a rant or whatever. I am not anti-technology, using technology to help you in the blacksmith shop. Certain things appeal to me. Nostalgia appeals to me in the blacksmith shop. But that only goes to a point, right? That only goes to a point with me. Because ultimately, I only have one life to live. I only have so many hours on my clock. I have only so many good working years left in me to be able to do this work and to enjoy the craft of blacksmithing before I slow down and I start becoming to where I just do like one simple little thing, and I might just make a trinket once a month, type deal. Or maybe my hands don't even work anymore. Maybe I got bad eyes, can't do it anymore. Bad health, right? So I only have got, let's call it 30 more years that I can be in this to where I can do something. And I'm being extremely generous to myself. Say I've only got 30 more years on my time clock to do stuff. I am going to find every aid and advantage I can to make the stuff that's in here come to fruition out here in the real world in that amount of time. So that might mean, instead of me hand chiseling out plate to make, instead of me forging out a big chunk of steel into a flat plate, hand chiseling out an cantilever out of it, hand filing all the edges, then forging the thing into the shape that I want, then finally forge welding it onto the scroll, the big computational forging, that I'm doing, or a multi-bar scroll. Instead of doing that, I'm going to use a CNC plasma cutter or a laser cutter to cut already pre-rolled flat plate, like the 21st century would, into the shape I'm already looking for, and then I'm going to go to town forming it, giving it its final form, right? Likewise, I don't have a shop where I've got 20, 30 apprentices running around at any given time doing numbers of tasks, right? Or a bunch of journeyman smith around me all the time where I'm like, hey, come here, hold this, do that. So that means I'm going to take and make tooling that I'm going to use an arc welder to make the tooling. It's not going to be this perfect hand forged tool that I made where I got to use with a striker. No, it's going to be some spring die that I made that I'm going to use under a power hammer, right, to achieve the same effect. So that's kind of how I look at technology in blacksmithing. It should be an aid to you to get what you're dreaming up out of here and out into the real world. Where it detracts from the world of blacksmithing, I believe, and this kind of comes into things like induction forges. I'm not a big fan of induction forges. If I was doing it full time, production smithing, if that's all I was doing, an induction forge, if I was doing smallish items, would be the perfect thing. All day long, I would live with the hospital beep in my shop all day long, right? Like, I would. There you go, right? I'd be beep, 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 beep. That's all you would hear all day long in my shop. And then bang, bang, bang out on a power hammer, right? But I don't do that. So I like the nostalgia of the shop. And so where I think it takes away is when we remove too much of the magic of smithing. We remove the coal smell of smithing. We sterilize things. We turn all of our shops into white lab rooms. Things like that. As you can see, that would not fit this guy's aesthetic. Look around, right? I'm in a dirty, dusty old dairy barn that I've converted into a smithing shop, right? And it's got a lot of character and a lot of flair. And that's the kind of stuff that drew me in the first place. Made me fall in love with blacksmithing as a kid. excited enough to take Jessica out on a date to Carriage Hill Metro Park, which is a historic reenactment place, and then spend 4 hours on our date night talking to the blacksmith when I should have just been hanging with my wife. Being a terrible date, really, and then pestering her for 6 months after of how cool it would be to be a blacksmith and have my own shop and and the smell of the smoke and it's awesome. Right? So those are that romance of it, right? That's what I like. And so technology, we're skirting the line in our world of smithing of trying to keep up with the times and have those labor-saving devices, but also while upholding that original magic, that original romance that really drew us into the craft in the first place. And that's a struggle. And that's for every smith to make up their own mind on that. One thing that's induction forging and all the new modern forging equipment that's coming out and all the new modern things that we have that you have available to you that I didn't have when I started smithing, it makes it possible for you to be in the city and have a basement shop and literally no one know that you're a smith or that you smith in your basement. It makes it completely possible because you don't have an open flame. All you got is a weird beep that comes from your basement. A weird beeping that's coming from your basement every now and then. And if they even hear that, right? So it's a kind of a crazy world we live in that type of technology is even a possibility that's available to us these days as blacksmiths. It wouldn't have been possible before. I know a lot of smiths who tried to start up a little shop in their backyard and use coal smoke and smoked out an entire city block, had fire departments called, and then were told they weren't allowed to smith anymore, and ended up having to shut down and not be able to do that. And so something like buying an induction forge is a perfect option to get you swinging and enjoying the craft of blacksmithing. So it's hard to balance the technology in smithing with the nostalgia of smithing. And I'm not a purist by no means. Just the things I enjoy most are a pure form of blacksmithing, if you will. It's a purist mindset, is some of the stuff that I enjoy the most about the craft of forging. So I enjoy coal smoke. I enjoy watching the flames lick up off of a fire. I enjoy the sound and ready and steady beat of a hammer and an anvil, and not just power equipment running. I enjoy those things. And so that's kind of where I like to go with. But as far as using technology, as far as using an arc welder to put something together or whatever, you have got to just do it your way, in the way that helps you get what's up in here out here for the rest of the world to enjoy. Because who knows, if you don't do it, who else is going to, right? Who else is going to? Yeah, so that's my thoughts on technology and blacksmithing as a whole.
The comments, everybody's kind of saying which way they lean themselves personally. I don't know, whether more traditionally or towards the innovations. Speargrass says, I can say with authority and proof, I have references, ask Roy, smiths of old absolutely used the most up-to-date tech they could get or afford, unless you want to have a specific era tech, it is okay.
Yep, 100%. We forget this modern world we live in wouldn't be here without blacksmiths. The modern world we live in today would not be here without blacksmiths. Your machinists, the old machinists were blacksmiths. They retrained. Your welders, you wouldn't have any of the welding out there nowadays had it not been for blacksmiths, right? So that was the original metalworking of the day. And they were always innovating and always chasing new methods of doing things that made it easier. Because we forget today. Today, it's a hobby. Today, it's an elective. Today, it's a choice to go into this career field. 1,000 years ago, it wasn't a choice for you. You were born into it or you were not. period. End of story. You didn't have the option. If your father was a blacksmith and his father was a blacksmith, if you wanted to eat, you were going to be a blacksmith. That was it. That was your role. You didn't jump career paths. 1,000 years ago, you wouldn't have had a choice. You know, so we have the ability to choose. And not even that long ago, 100 years ago, it wasn't even a choice. It was not a choice. It was you could choose to be a but it was a trade, right? It was a trade. It was an actual job. It was a job title, just like welding or a boat captain or whatever. It was a choice that you made, and you studied and you trained and you got in, and once you were in, you had seniority and you didn't want to lose it, and you wanted to work at that shop forever, and you wanted to pay all your bills, right? And you wanted to do all that. It used to be a job, just a job for a lot of people. And even all those great smiths of old that we look up to now in America, it was a job. It was a business opportunity. It was not necessarily a passion of theirs. So we live in a very fortunate time where it's a passion. So we can choose to don on our 1865 outfits and pretend like we're forging for Squanto out there, right? We can choose to go pretend you're a Viking out there, even though you have zero bloodline and Viking heritage, or a Scotsman or whatever. We can pretend, we can LARP as an old-fashioned smith from a different era or a different day, right? We can do some live action role playing, and that's okay. In fact, we can even build up a whole business around it too as well nowadays. So that would not be possible without technology. It wouldn't be possible without the internet, which is technology, and all of those good things. So I think we live in a really, really cool and special time where we live at in the world, that it's not a matter of survival to have to do a thing, but it's a matter of want and choice and enjoyment to do it. So if technology in the forge just tickles you pink, man, embrace it. Embrace it all. Use a plasma cut thing that's welded to another thing that was arc welded to another thing that was forged in the forge with some texture and then painted with some spray paint and put on someone's wall. Enjoy. Make whatever you want. Just enjoy the craft as a whole.
David Redner says, even 100 years ago, the blacksmith was an essential member of the community.
Yep.
Keith says, I wish so bad that a blacksmith was needed again. Living here in the Corn Belt of America, I wish I could post a blacksmith sign at the end of our road and have traffic to my house, but alas.
You'd be surprised, Keith. A lot of people would come and take you up on it. That's how I got started in smithing. A lot of people bringing me antique stuff to fix, antique farm equipment. A lot of it was just so this way it made better functional yard art, but a lot of it was done, especially if you live around Amish country too. There's still a need for that sort of stuff. You'd be surprised what type of jobs you pull in. You'd be surprised what type of characters you might have come up your driveway too, so you may not want to do that.
Speargrass says, John Deere, blacksmith inventor.
Yep. Always inventing, always making the world a little bit better. Speaking of which, I've got some inventions coming out over the next year or so. So there's going to be some cool stuff coming soon.
I'm going to take a break for just a minute.
Okay, you're going to take a break? Okay. I was getting ready to shut her down, but
okay.
It's okay. How long?
Like 5 minutes.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, you're fine. So let's see here. Where was I at? So I've got some cool new stuff coming up in the this new year. Some inventions that I hope are going to be really well. I'm not going to speak too much about it because I don't want you all to think I'm all talk and no game. It's in development right now. I have a lot of stuff in drawings. Some of the stuff is going to be patented because it is new. It is new. It's actually new to the forging industry, if you can believe that. There are some designs for some things that I'm coming out with that I think are going to be really, really cool. So technology is going to play a big role. We are also moving up this year to, hopefully, we'll see, We're still in a lot of thinking about it, a lot of prayer about it. But we are thinking about moving up to CNC fiber laser this year. So we will have some fiber laser in the shop, which will hopefully make all of our CNC cut projects and forge projects and these future inventions of mine come off without a hitch. So they should be very, it'll be Christ in our Ironworks with freaking laser beams, if you will. So be on the lookout for that change when that comes through. That'll be a little bit different. Again, embracing technology as part of our business strategy for the future. On the non-futuristic side of things this year, I'm almost finished with the one Baroque grill that you saw. That's a simple Baroque grill 1. That's my start of a 3 grill series that I'm going to be making on some French Baroque ironwork. And so I have plans on starting the second one by the tail end of this year on that. But I think I might take a small little hiatus and do a really ornate hammer again. That was really fun. I'm thinking about replacing my hammer, this one that I've been using for so long. I love it to pieces. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to give it a little tender love and care. Maybe just oil it down, and I'm probably going to put this on a shadow box in my wall somewhere. This is my very first forged hammer I ever made. I actually did this in class with Tom Latané. It was a hammer of firsts for me. It's the first time ever forging with wrought iron. It's the first time I ever forge welded dissimilar materials together. It's the first time I ever forge welded up a hammer, and it was the first time I ever made a hammer, actually. So lots of firsts in this, and it was the first time I ever did any chasing work, any chisel work on anything. And so I got to learn how to do that, make the tools and stuff like that in Tom Latané's class. And that was a long time ago now. That's been better part of 15 years ago I made this hammer. And I have used it every day since. Every day for 15 years. Love it to pieces. So anyways, she's getting a little worn. So I'm thinking about making a new one, making my hammer for the next 30 years, my next 30-year hammer, and going really ornate with it. And so we'll have to see how that ends up going maybe this year. So that's kind of a plan I have roughly on there. Reason being, it's a little different pace. It'll be a lot of boss relief engraving. It'll be a lot of chisel work. It'll be a lot of chasing work on it. And, again, it's going to be kind of over the top, but I love over the top things. It's like my personality. So I might take a little small break. That's why I said I'm probably going to work on the next Baroque grill towards the tail end of the year, tail end of 2026 here. My goal is to have 3 grills produced by the year 2028. By the year 2028, that'll be officially a full 20 years I've been doing the craft of smithing, which is crazy that it's 2 years away. I've been at this 18 years, which is nuts. Nutso to think about that. But yeah, so in year 2028, I'll have officially put in 20 years in the forge. And that's a pretty exciting thing. So it's actually a little weird because I didn't actually start selling products. So like my actual business is 20 years. It comes up a little bit after. So in 2028, in 2027 will be my official 20-year mark in the world of blacksmithing in total. But anyways, neither here nor there. That's semantics. So yeah, so I'm thinking about making a really special hammer and taking you guys along for the ride for that one. If anybody remembers the tools of the trade hammer that I made a number of years back that I took to SOFA, that's the new hammer's going to put that one to shame, I think. So, but we'll see. We'll see if we can. We'll only be able to see if we can get it together. I kind of hate retiring this hammer, but it's kind of at the point now. I've used it for so long, and it's getting quite worn. And I just don't want to, I don't want to ruin something that's been with me for like longer than any of my kids have been alive. You know, I mean, it's been around pretty much as long as Jessica and I have been married. So long time. So, you know, almost as long as Jessica and I have been married. So yeah, I'm sentimental like that. I like to keep it nice. I don't know if you guys have any sentimental things like that in your shop that you know that you've had for a really long time, and you would be remiss to lose it, you know. And I would be remiss to break this someday, or have a missed hammer blow when I'm forging with somebody, and that be a problem. So yeah, so that's kind of some thoughts there. We have a lot of great things coming up. I'm also going to go ahead and point out again, for those of you who don't know. So this year, 2026, marks 1 decade on YouTube. So we have spent 10 solid years here on YouTube, on the platform. So we have a compilation video coming up here real soon that we will be kind of taking you through the years of Christ-centered Ironworks here on YouTube, on the platform. And that's going to be I think that's going to be a real fun video. I look forward to collaborating with Jessica on that. That's going to be a fun process. And then from there, I also want to state again that to celebrate 10 years on the platform in February, at February 20th, which will be the next live stream that we do, that will actually be a giveaway live stream. And in that stream, we're going to give away, we're going to re-give away Speargrass's book that he did for international customers, for international only, because somebody had previously who won it. Their comment got selected, but they weren't intending on winning it because they were here in the United States. So we're redrawing the name. We'll be doing that at the February 20th live stream. I also have some Zax wax and some Shop Shepherd oil from ZH Fabrications I've been meaning to give away for like ever. So we're going to be doing that in that live stream as well. And the grand prize that we'll be giving away, and we'll be giving away every single live stream throughout the year of 2026, or at least until we have 10 of them given away, is an anvil. So we're going to be giving away an anvil once a month. And we're just doing that just to take and celebrate a full decade on the platform. And I just thought it was a really cool way to do. There's been some new anvils that have come out on Amazon recently, and some new Achayos and some new different brands, you know, V-Word like anvils and stuff. Those are all things I haven't reviewed yet. I haven't done any reviews on, and I've kind of been out of the review game for just a hot minute. I do plan on getting back into that and doing some reviews on some of those anvils, and you know, doing some smash up videos. Those are always fun. Do some smash up videos and who knows what. So although this is not a year of the anvil, although it's really close, like having a year of the anvil, this is going to be us celebrating 10 years. So 10 anvils in 10 years, you know. So 10 anvils for 10 years of being on the platform of YouTube. So I hope you guys will be really excited about that. It's going to be a lot of fun for us. Of course, in Christmas, we'll have a great Blacksmith Christmas giveaway live stream. These giveaways won't take away from that. That'll be a thing that we do as well again. And you'll get to see this fine shop all decorated up and doing all that good stuff just like you see it now. So it ought to be a good time either way. So I've about ran out of things to say just there. I'm going to walk around to the other side of the thing so I can start reading some of your comments until Jessica gets back there. So let me come around to this other side. Let me see here. She's got her view off. Let me go turn Jessica cam on. There we go, turn Jessica cam on. Boom, there I am. It's not Jessica though, ha-ha. It's me in Jessica's spot. Let's see here. Yeah, Speargrass Forge. That hammer is one of your kids in a way. Look after it, retire it, and bring in a new one. Exactly. Exactly. Yep, exactly, Danimals Creations. Yep, hanging on the wall as a keepsake for when you really need the old girl. Very cool. Yep, a V4 smash up for sure. Damel's Creations. Yeah, you still have a treadle hammer kit 2 years ago in the box. Well, whew, you need to get that together. David Redner, is the anvils that you're giving away the 1-inch Hardy, 3/4-inch Hardy? Just curious. Not sure yet. I'm not sure. It's going to be a mix. I hate to say what type of anvil it is because I'm pretty sure after I mention it, it's probably going to go out of stock everywhere. So I'm trying to be careful not to mention the first one. I do believe it's a 1-inch Hardy that it is. But yeah, I'm not going to mention it right now because I just don't want it to go out of stock. I'll be doing a review video on the first anvil I'll be giving away, but that review is going to come out after I give the anvil away. So this way I don't end up with a problem of saying, hey, I'm doing that, you know. Possum Sausage, giving away new stock. Natural gas boosters. Yeah, bust out the hammer at the 20-year celebration and at milestone anniversaries. Exactly. Exactly.
Nice by the heater, huh?
Yeah. Go ahead and you put that back on. Yeah, it's a little nice by the heater. Turn them on there, so. Fly Fisher Q6D. This is my second live stream. Really enjoy them. I'm really glad to have you here. I'm glad you enjoy them. Let me go around to the front there, so. Cool. Anyway, so I told them about some of the stuff coming up this year. Bit of new things, bit of new exciting things, awesome things.
Good, good.
One last thing I wanted to say about the upcoming new year. In the past, we're going to do a change. So pay attention, everybody. If you're doodling or doing something else, pay real close attention to this part. We're going to do a live stream change. Our kids are a bit older now. We got 2 teenage daughters and almost a teenage son. So they are all old enough now to self-regulate, put themselves in bed if they need to, that sort of stuff. They're real good kids. They do what they need to do. So what that means is we're going to go back to our original time that we used to do a long time ago before we had before we had to do like kids getting in bed and bedtimes and had to work more of that stuff out. Which is 7 o'clock. So we are going to go back to doing our live stream at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday nights, and that'll be on the one live stream a month that we plan on doing as of right now. So what that means is so it'll be from 7 to 9 p.m.-ish, roughly, right? 7 to kind of whenever. But if you want to make sure you don't miss out on a stream, it's definitely from 7 to 9 is what we're going to be doing. When we switched up to an earlier time, it actually made it really difficult for people who are on the West Coast. They were still at work or they were still at work for another hour or two, something like that when we were doing them at 5. And so we have switched it now. So just this like the transitionary live stream. This one was at 6 p.m. And so it's supposed to be from 6 to 8. We're probably getting closer to 9 now. But the next live stream that we do in February, on February 20th, will be from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully that'll work out. It's a little late for people who are on the Eastern Seaboard, can be seen a little bit late. But it should be right on time for people who are on the Western Seaboard. And more importantly than all of that, it works out best for us. It's going to work out a little bit better for us. That way we can get our dinner into us and, have a bit of a downtime right after work ends for the day. And then we can come out and do this live stream. And I think it'll work out really, really swell that way. So again, 7 to 9 p.m. is going to be the new time going forward. So remember that here in 2026. That also means I'm going to be talking about membership streams, like membership-only streams. So some of you all might have noticed people having anvils by their names, Maybe their names are highlighted differently, but they don't just have a blue wrench. Well, those happen to be channel members. So if you're not a channel member, it's a great way of supporting the channel. Like if you don't want to do the blanks and stuff with us or any other, or super chats or whatever, you could choose to become a channel member. There's a lot of perks there. We do big discounts over on our website for anything that you buy from us, any of the CNC plasma cut blanks and tooling that we offer. You get big discounts if you're a channel member. But the other perk I hope to do more of this year is I plan on doing more in the shop and spur of the moment things for membership streams. We were doing them kind of as a stream after the stream type thing. They were running really super late and things like that. Jessica is not much of a night owl.
No, not really.
Jessica is not much of a night owl. And so I'm going to end up taking up the mantle of doing member streams. I'll be doing them most likely from my cell phone, and they'll be in the shop doing them from different things. So they'll be throughout the day. They won't be on the same days as your general regular live stream. So for our channel members that are doing that. So that'll be bonus behind the scenes content. That will be stuff we're working on currently. You'll get to see a lot of new stuff, before I ever get it posted about on YouTube, just because you'll get to see it kind of as it's happening in the moment. So if you're interested in channel memberships, I think there was a whole bunch gifted earlier in the stream to folks. Be sure to check out the memberships tab on the channel on YouTube here and see what type of stuff is going on and going down there. There's a lot of cool things there. Ain't that right, hun?
There is. Keith says, Lauren was just talking today about planning a weekend trip and doing a full day class with you. Should it play out? Maybe a day of scroll work and such?
Sure. Come on up. Be great. That would be fun. We can go over all sorts of scrolls.
Crawford says, you make them streams. I'll be there. Love you, Roy and crew.
Awesome. Love you too, Crawford. Thank you so much.
Speargrass says, channel member surprise streams? LOL.
Yeah, channel member surprise streams. You never know when I might go live, go crazy. So.
Yeah, Roger Caldwell says in the newsletter, it's cool to see the behind the scenes stuff. Yep. Yeah, I try to cover stuff there that you don't really see anywhere else us posting about. So, yep. If you haven't joined the newsletter, it's free. We do it mainly just once a month, really. And there's also kind of like a recap of any videos we've done on YouTube, just in case, YouTube didn't notify you or anything like that.
We do a really tasteful, Jessica, I shouldn't say we. Jessica does a really tasteful newsletter. It usually has a lot of interesting things to it, and it's not just a big sales pitch. So, if you've been part of newsletters before and all they are just one big sales pitch to you, that's not how our newsletters are. A lot of them are like life update stuff, a lot of things from behind the scene type things. There is some sales pitchiness in there because we're letting you know where we're at. And we just do that as a benefit because a lot of people who do subscribe to our newsletter, they are actually interested in discounts. They are actually interested in new tooling we're bringing to market and things like that. There is a little bit of sales pitch in there, but the majority of the newsletter is life stuff. Things we're working on. Things, Jessica might snap a picture of me. I've got a timber frame cabin I'll be building this year. She's probably going to have some pictures of that in maybe the newsletter, or maybe I might be forging some bracketry. Things that aren't going on YouTube, but, you're just going to get random tidbits of things like that, which is a really cool thing in the newsletter. And those things are probably what I'm talking about with doing like member lives too. It'll all be centered around blacksmithing still, so don't worry. It's not like me over here crocheting in the corner, and that's what type of membership stream you're going to get. It's still going to be metalworking related. But it'll be smaller groups, and it's a little bit nicer that way. Yep.
Possum says, whatever happened to the secret channel you were creating? Am I missing out? We decided to focus on all the avenues we already have going on instead of branching out and rabbit trailing down a whole different avenue.
For now. We still have the secret channel. It's just we haven't done any investment into it as of yet. So. We still have the secret channel, but it just hasn't it's to remain nameless until we put actual content there.
Yeah, well, probably one announcement Roy hasn't gone over yet is the Warriors coupon code and how that went.
No, we didn't. I've been waiting on you because you had all the screens and slides and all that good stuff.
Yep. So for those of you guys who were around last month on social medias or here on our live stream, we were running a promotion for a good portion of December where we were doing 10% off to the customer and then donating 10% of the sales with the coupon code Warriors to the Wounded Warrior Project. So in total, we had about $1,500 in sales that came in with people using the code Warriors. And so we were able to donate $150 to the Wounded Warrior Project. And we want to say thank you all for partnering with us to do that. And each year around the holidays, we try to choose a different holiday. We try to choose a different charity to make a donation to on behalf of the blacksmithing community. And so last year was the Alzheimer's Association, 2024 was the Alzheimer's Association, and before that we did St. Jude one year, and we did Ronald McDonald House another year. So 2025, we wanted to do the Wounded Warrior Project, which has to do with veterans who have been injured. And so, so that is how that turned out. So thank you everybody who participated in that. And I just figured I'd give y'all an update. We did get that submitted before the end of the year. And so, that went well. David Raynor, no, there won't be any blacksmith cooking on the secret channel. Secret squirrel smithing. So besides that, kind of January for us has been kind of catch up and get back onto things that have been sidetracked for the last 2 months, just being super slammed. So I've spent quite a few days this last week and a half catching up just on bookkeeping stuff, and still not completely done with that, even prior to tax season. But Chuck says, as a USAF veteran, thank you both. You're welcome.
Very welcome. On that, every year, so think about it, every year we do that. We do something in support of another charity of some kind. We try to rally the community support together by giving nice discounts, right, to you, and then taking a portion of the proceeds that we get through the links that are generated from that and giving that to whatever the organization would be. We've done Ronald McDonald House, we've done St. Jude's Children's Hospital, we did the Wounded Warrior thing this year.
The Alzheimer's Association.
We did the Alzheimer's Association last year, I believe it was.
Yep.
So if you I'd like to see more participation in that next year with links. You get a discount, so it doesn't hurt you any. You actually get the discount, so you get an additional, whatever it is, 10. Usually it's 10% off. So you get an additional 10% off. You get 10% off your order, and then we give 10% to the, to the particular project we're sponsoring. But that only happens if you click through the link.
It was a code.
A coupon code, right? It only happens if you actually use the coupon code when you on checkout. So I would like to take and see those things go pretty well that way. And so start thinking now. Feel free to email us some ideas on what type of project come the upcoming Christmas live stream in 2026. Email us some ideas on some things that you'd like to see, as far as supported in that way. And we definitely don't mind taking and doing that. It's a great way of you getting a discount and also sending some, proceeds and some monies there, right?
Yeah, the blacksmith community having a chance to make an impact on something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so I guess the way to say it is we donate 10% of the proceeds on your behalf. Yeah, of whatever, we make that way. So Good time to do it. It's always a good time to do it at the end of the year stuff. But so we're always trying to find different ways of being philanthropic.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep.
Questions, Jess? Comments? Anything else?
Let's see. Danimals has to run.
Take care of Danimals. Thanks for being here.
Yep. So he says, good night, all.
Good night, Danimals.
Roger says, stay safe, God bless. Keith says, prayers for your friend's mom, God bless. And he says, thanks, everyone.
Oh. Good.
Ken
Good.
Foster says you should do a video on repurposing that coffee mug that injured you. He still likes to drink coffee out of that coffee mug, so I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah.
Your
yeah.
coffee
the thermos?
Yeah, that you fell on.
Yeah,
when
falling
you
on this
injured your-
thermos, this Stanley that broke my ribs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just imagine all this fat boy right here, force, landing right on that and just balancing like a circus act right on that.
Yes.
Yeah, it hurt. It hurt. It took the wind out of me. I made a little girl squeak like
Yeah.
it squeezed all the air out of my lungs. Yeah, it hurt like a booger. So
It's been very icy this year. I mean, it wasn't even icy when that happened, but it's gotten, normally it just stays cold, but we've had some spells where it gets a little bit above freezing, and then all the snow we have up here melts off and then refreezes, and the ground's saturated, so it doesn't go anywhere. And so we just have ice skating rinks all over the place.
yeah,
So-
that one I actually hooked both my feet under a concrete lid in the yard. I went, ooh, straight down. So
Yeah. We now
Yeah.
have lights all over our
It
yard,
was
so
bad. Well, now we do.
now we do. Yeah.
It was
yeah.
pitch black when I walked across our
Yeah.
yard that time.
Yep.
Big difference, you know.
Mm-hmm. Kingfisher says, ouch, man, that's worse than a Lego.
It was just a little worse than a Lego at that point. So
David says, just hearing that caused me pain.
yeah, it caused pain. It was kind of like I really didn't need that to happen either. You know, it was like
Yeah.
the wrong time for that to happen to me. But I mean, there's never a right time, I guess, to get hurt or injured. But still, highly inconvenient.
Ugh.
Highly inconvenient.
Keith says, got the flu just before Christmas, cracked ribs, coughing from it. Finally on the uphill 5 weeks later. Rib injuries suck.
Oh, yeah. They take forever. They take forever. And they feel like, they don't feel like any other kind of break. Ribs don't. Because you're just always, you don't realize how much you use your ribs, your rib cage. Like, I mean, it exists inside you. You know you have ribs, but you don't realize they move and how much they move and flex during a day. So like when you're breathing in or breathing out, or you're laying on one side or you're laying on another, or if you bend over or you sit up too quick or whatever, you don't realize that that rib cage of yours isn't just this rock solid thing. It's always moving and flexing and bending and twisting, you know. And so that area is always irritated wherever it's been broke. So it's the second time I've had broke ribs. Not fan, just not a fan at all. So
Yeah. Let's see here.
but I'm on the mend now. I'm beyond it. We'll put air quotes. I'm beyond it enough now. Let's just say I'm not giving it any real stiff trials anytime soon. I'm going to let it re-mend for a couple of years before I try to go do something stupid again.
Speargrass says, forge some crampons for next winter for your boots. That way the ice is less dangerous.
Oh, yeah. I bought some good crampons, so this year. Best crampons I've ever bought. And they were at a secondhand store. So it's like, I'm going to look up that brand and buy another set of them. And they're really, really tight. Really good stuff.
I'll have to make sure I get a picture of that too to update it.
I want to show it off in detail, so I'm going to end up refocusing this real quick. I think it's worth it.
Let's see. Nameron Kidder, yeah, if you want to donate something for the blacksmith giveaway for next year, If you look at the live stream description, most of the time we have our mailing address there, or you can also reach out through our website, the contact form. And yes, I'm zoomed up. And so yeah, we'd be happy to start gathering collections for next year's Christmas giveaway. It's very fancy. I like that.
It's nice. I like that part. I love scrolls that have balance like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're nice. Cool. There it is.
Robert Lana says, I was 4 weeks into a brand new knee replacement and I got COVID, so I had to deal with physical therapy and COVID at Christmas.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
You win. You all win.
You need a redo. Like,
yeah, you need a redo.
Just wait till it's a snowy day and just have yourself another Christmas.
Hey, look, there's nothing wrong with it being Christmas until it's spring. Okay? Nothing wrong with it. So decorate up the house. You know, put the New Year's resolution away until May. Mm-hmm. Have some gingerbread man. Enjoy your day.
Joe Vanek says, I was fortunate to win your double guillotine during the Christmas giveaway.
Very awesome. Very
much looking forward to assembling it. What 2 types of dies would you recommend I try to make as a newish blacksmith?
Let's see here. I think probably the 2 handiest dies you can make for it is make a simple fuller, top and bottom fuller. So just grind a radius on your dies, top and bottom. So that way you have a fuller that you can use. And then I would leave the other die actually flat. I would leave it a flat die. I would just cut it and dress the edges so it's a flat die. Those would be probably the 2 most handiest shapes that you can use in a guillotine tool until you know what type of specialized things you want to have that you want to make, right? Because with a fuller, you can do things like neck down pipe. So you can neck down pipe to make like candle cups and things like that. You can use a fuller to start the shouldering process on tenons if you like to do a little bit of traditional work. And you can use the square dies there to get in real close to shoulders to flatten and iron out material and things. And it's super handy to like use that, to use those in combo to take and actually forge out a little tenon on the end of a bar more accurately than maybe the practice it takes to do it at the anvil by hand. So I would say those are probably the 2 handiest things. If you put the fullering die in the front, the furthest one to the left of the opening, the one that's at the front of the opening of the dual bay guillotine tool, you can even use it for spreading operations, you know, where you're putting a double fuller, so you're fullering in and you're spreading stuff in width like that. A very handy tool to have to do like accuracy type forgings. So that would be my suggestion for the first 2. I think those would be the most handiest to you. After that, specialty dies are like ones that have swedges, like swedging dies that have different radii in them. So you can make like balls or little mid balls like in bar stock. The other one that can be really good to do, you can do butchering dies where it butchers in. It leaves a flat on one side and a taper on the other. Those are other handy ones you can do. Also, if you know that you're making one type of tenon over and over and over again, you can set up one die where you actually make drill a hole through. So you cut the die, put it together, drill a hole between them, and now you can come up with an exact 3/8 tenon or round up whatever bar stock you want. Again, making a swedge type die to where you can swedge things down. Yeah, so that would be my advice to you. I would start with a simple round and flat. That's it. I would start with a round and flat if you know nothing else to make. And those right there are very universal, super universal to you. And you can get to making some pretty cool stuff right away with it. Nope.
Joe Evanek says, Awesome input. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So, all right. Well, without further ado, I think we're going to go ahead and call it for the evening, Jess.
Okay.
How's that sound to you?
Yeah, sounds good.
Sound good to you?
Yeah, we're basically sitting at 9 o'clock.
Sitting at 9 o'clock?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, we did quite a while then, huh?
We
Almost
did.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Almost 3 hours. So, yeah, so I think I'll leave everybody with this. I am excited for this new year. I'm excited that you all are part of the channel. I'm excited for all the cool stuff we're going to get into this year and play around with, and all the exciting things we're going to be bringing out, like in our business, all the exciting videos we're going to be doing. And yeah, I'm just really excited. I'm ready to go. I'm chomping at the bit, for the new year. Obviously, you can see I still hold Christmas in my heart no matter what in season I'm in, January included. It's not going to change. I'll be doing that all year long probably. I'll just leave the Christmas decorations up. It's fine. I could be one of those people. I'm happy with it. It's good. But yeah, I really hope you guys have fun. I hope you've been having fun on the channel. Remember to celebrate with us come February 20th. We will have more details as we go along too as well, what type of anvils and this and that, what have you. But be sure to come celebrate with us our 10 years on YouTube come February 20th at the very first live stream that we're going to be doing, where we're going to give away an anvil. So we're planning on doing 10 anvils this year for the 10 years that we've been on YouTube, and a lot of cool other gifts and swag. So be sure to be there, or be lame and square. Be somewhere else. Watch soap operas or whatever it is you're doing. But this will be the coolest place to be on the internet come February 20th. Okay? So anyways, God bless each and every last one of you. I pray that you have an awesome weekend, if it is your weekend, and an awesome work week next week. And until February 20th, ta-ta for now. God bless you all. Thank you all so much for being part of our channel. Catch you on the next one.